Excellent. Everyone, sorry, we're slightly running a bit late. I had to fix the PC, so that's how it works. This is Rap Braven, your host. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to save the InDesign document that we use so I can open it for the fantastic viewers around the world. So let me see if I can find this thing. Hold on, give me 17 seconds, family. I'll go with the killer speed of a millipede. There we go. Show 88. Yeah, so we can see a quick transition. Let's see if we can find it. All right, where are we? Let's go for this one. Let's see if you can see that. Look at that, show 88. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Betterment Broadcast. This is show 88. If you didn't know, it says in front of you, so now you know. Fantastic. Now, like I said, after much research, I have to unfortunately conclude that currently Black people are collectively inadequate. Oh, no. That's right. Unfortunately, Black people struggle when it comes to collective teamwork. And hopefully this broadcast can help us find that skill set, very important skill set. So what we're going to do, though, we will invite people to talk as we do because we, caring is sharing and all that good stuff. But we have to follow some rules, fortunately. And those rules are the 4D values. So what are they? When we talk amongst ourselves, please, can we display some discipline? That's right. Also, can we also show some dedication? Don't just quit after one attempt. Dedication, please. Dignity, state of quality of being worthy of honor, respect. Let's try to respect ourselves and the people we speak to, if possible. And also discernment, probably the most important, the ability to notice the fine point details, the ability to judge something well, or the ability to understand or comprehend something. Let's really try to do that. Fantastic. Oh, yes. Let's try not to use any kind of derogative language. I recommend we strongly don't do that. The more I listen to I spend a lot of time researching, studying other kind of like community, Black empowerment, Black bettering, and this kind of stuff, podcasts and shows where they have interactions. And I'm convinced that just allowing casual derogatory language as a sign of endearment, cool language, or anything else, it becomes hard to indistinguish between compliments and insults. And before you know it, we have passionate outbreaks. So, because we're collectively inadequate, let's not do that. Until we can master the art of being adequate, let's not swear at each other. Yeah, fantastic. So what is Black Betterment? Black Betterment is Black people and Black issues for betterment. Very, I think that's very simple, but you'll be surprised how hard it is to practice this and how dedicated non-Black people and Black people have been in promoting the opposite of this practice. Shame on us and them. So that's right. This is the lifestyle of Black people helping Black people. Very simple. If you're helping Black people and you're being constructive, it's a lifestyle, and we want to be dedicated to that. And that is known as Black Betterment. Voila, fantastic. We're going to show some videos that's not ours. I didn't have time to blackify some of the videos. Those who don't know what that is, sometimes we have to, put some algorithm changing techniques so, it looks more artistic and look like we're just taking videos from the internet. That's not ours. I don't think I have time this week for that, so let's hope we don't get in trouble. Oh no! Also, if you're new to it, please follow the Black Betterment Building Instagram. It's how we promote the show, and I haven't really done a good job at all at promoting it. But please tell your friend to tell a friend to be a friend of the page. Very important. Yes, it is. Please do that if you can. It'll be fantastic. Super fantastic, megally good. All right, now what is today's show? All right, are Black people too kind towards our enemies? And we look at Black-owned shoe brands. Now, why are we saying this? Many reasons. Unfortunately, and I didn't gather too much of the data, but I do have some stuff which I'll try to find. In fact, I want you guys to count to 7 while I import all these videos. So count to 7. I don't know if you can hear. I thought it cut off when you were actually looking for the videos, but it doesn't. Very good functionality. Well done, software. So let's open this one. Let's pause that for a minute. If we're going to freeze that, pretend you didn't see that, please. What else? What would we need? Oh, stop there. No, stop that. Share video again. What's the second one? Is it this one? That's not that one. All right. Well, we don't need to. This is from Nigeria. They need to work on the audio, but we can also on that. And let's have the final one. And also
you have for the loved ones of
please. And what else? We also have some pages. Let me see if I can actually share the brand. I'll try that next after we do all the talking and stuff. Get rid of that, please, mate. Yep, it looks like it's loaded for the most part, the shoe brand stuff. But some of them are actually Instagram, so it doesn't seem to load. But what are you gonna do? Let me not zoom on that one. So look at black-owned businesses. Very good idea. Let's all do it regularly. Anyway, so let's go back. For those who don't know, unfortunately, in Buffalo, this is in America, by the way, there was a shooting. Another one. There's a few usually, and this was anti-black racist race soldier who went through Buffalo, killing mainly elderly, middle-aged to elderly people, and a random killing spree to show, he's a race soldier. He doesn't like black people for one or two reasons that isn't really relevant, I guess. But I guess the question we're asking, if we go back, is: are black people too kind towards our enemies? Why do we say this? You can always draw information together and conclude how you want, but I guess it's this history of how we react to certain things. I think we're going to show another video of some guy who's been interviewed, his reaction to it. There's also another guy who I didn't. Did I? Maybe as we're playing this, I'm going to see if I can find the other brother. I think that's what I'm going to find. Buffalo shooter. Okay, shooting. Oh, yeah. Or whatever. So what we're gonna let me play the news thing of the Buffalo shooting. It hasn't been black-fied while I look for the other stuff. So, but before I say that, what was the fault? So let's just so we break down what happened. Go.
year-old white male has been arrested and charged with first-degree murder for a mass shooting at a supermarket in Buffalo, New York, in what authorities called an act of racially motivated violent extremism. Authorities say at least 10 people have been reported dead from the shooting, which took place in a predominantly black neighborhood in Buffalo on Saturday afternoon. Buffalo Police Commissioner Joseph Gramaglia said the suspect was armed with an assault-style rifle and body armor when he opened fire in the parking lot, while live streaming the attack on Twitch.
He worked his way back towards the front of the store. Buffalo police immediately respond, engage the suspect in the vestibule of the store, and at that point, the suspect put the gun to his own neck. Buffalo police personnel, 2 patrol officers, talked the suspect into dropping the gun. He dropped the gun, took off some of his tactical gear, surrendered at that point.
Officials said 11 of the 13 people struck by gunfire were black, and that the attack would be investigated both as a hate crime and an act of racially motivated violent extremism under federal law. Twitch said in a statement that it removed the live stream of the attack less than 2 minutes after it started and was working to ensure no other accounts reposted the content. Speaking at the suspect's arraignment on Saturday, New York Governor Kathy Hochul said such live streams were responsible for a feeding frenzy of violent extremist ideology. She also pledged to introduce previously planned gun control legislation on Tuesday to address loopholes in state laws.
To see that sense of security shattered by an individual, a white supremacist who has engaged in an act of terrorism and will be prosecuted as such. It strikes us in our very hearts to know that there's such evil that lurks out there.
Documents attributed to the suspect have been circulating online, including a to-do list for the attack, as well as a 180-page manifesto alleging that minorities are replacing white people worldwide. A district attorney spokesperson declined to comment on the documents, while the FBI could not immediately be reached for comment. If convicted, the suspect faces a maximum penalty of life in prison without parole.
Very, very non-harsh. All right. So while that's down, I'm just going to download one other one. Give me 17. Oh, come on. Why is it now messing around? Don't do that, technology. Oh, well, what were we going to say? At least I got that one. Anyway, so yeah, that's unfortunately Buffalo. That's what happened. There's a white supremacist or race soldier, correct term, and yeah, he's murdered people. And what we're going to do? We're going to look at some of the responses of some of the black people, whatever. So here's one gentleman who we came across. Let's see what he was saying. Let's see if we can use it as a case study. Rewind.
What message do you have for loved ones of the victims tonight?
That we here, that we are here for them. We are here for them, and we love them, and we let them know if it takes being here all night, we will be. We are here for each and every one of them. to show that we care for them and they are somebody, and we want to make sure that they are remembered in whichever way they would like to see their loved one remembered. But we want to let them families know, we want to wrap our arms around each and every individual and let them know we are here for them and whatever we can do. You know, as a Buffalo Peacemaker, Buffalo Fathers, grassroots organizations that have been here, you know, since earlier today, just hugging people, loving on people, and letting them know that whatever they need, we are here for them.
Lenny, thank you so much, and I am so sorry for your loss. I can't even begin to imagine.
Of course. I mean, I wanted to hug you. I just want to hug you. I just want to hug you.
Yeah, this is a problem as well. Just something I've observed. There's, for those who don't know, there's a gentleman talking about how unfortunate the murder is, which it was, and he wants to hug the woman who's telling giving the news. Very problematic. Once again, it's a priority thing. We saw a similar thing when not too long ago where there was a guy who was talking to white supremacists about don't hate me, I'm human, give me a hug, this kind of behavior stuff. And the issue you have is when it comes to like the news reports and stuff, you get a whole lot of violent male content, unfortunately. I ain't on top. Sorry, I'm going to download this thing. Voila! But when it comes to this, when we get murdered, when black people get murdered, this is what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of this kind of like hugging everyone. Don't know if it's deliberate. I don't want to do no conspiracy theory. I don't know why this guy's hugging her. This character, because that's what we need. Yeah. We don't need hugs. We definitely don't need hugs. This is very, very inappropriate. This is inappropriate behavior for black people. Who we maybe find this guy's Twitter and just go, "Are you okay, mate?" This is misdirection. This is hugging a European news reporter after a massacre isn't appropriate at all, and it doesn't spell the right message. We need hugs.
We need hugs. Yes, we do. We need to come together right now more than anything.
And you know what I mean? It's from all over the city, we need to come together and hug one another.
No. You see, you need justice. You need to defend yourselves. You need people who do this to be punished. You need to have laws to prevent it. You need to have stricter punishments for it. And black people in that particular town need to defend themselves. But also, the reason I bring it up is let me just comment this with brother.
And I can see us out here for the next 2 or 3 days, just being out here praying for one another, hugging one another, showing love and support, and finding out whatever resources that we have and that they need. We want to make sure that
we don't have any resources, man. That's one of the problems. But okay, let's look at some other stuff. Not a good look. Hold on, download. Where is the downloading and everything? Let's go to arrange by type. This is download. I think it's this one. It says this one. Wait a minute. Where's the date? Is it this one? Guys. Mate, I downloaded some. Where is it? Where is this thing gone? Hold on. Video. Let's go. Show footage. Arrange by date. I mean, what is going on? It's literally like I just downloaded it. It should be here. It's not here. Maybe I'm going mad than I really am. Hold on. You know what? Here we go. But I'm not that one. Let's look at this one. So this is another thing I came across.
Now we want to go back to the scene of the crime.
News 4's Tara Lynch has been at the scene all afternoon and all evening. She can bring us an update now. Tara?
But I've been telling you one story since we first came on the air, and it was about this man here, Grady Lewis. You were in that Tops earlier this afternoon. We're going to get to that story. But you told me just a few moments ago that you actually spoke with the suspect yesterday. He was here. Tell me more about that.
I seen him, and he looked strange in the neighborhood, but he had a genius shirt on, so I wanted to see if he was a genius. And we sat and talked about string theory, critical race theory, beginning of civilization, and And he seemed like he was a genius, actually. He said he came up just to see the countryside, and he was going to go out camping. He bought a big thing, a jug of water. He had a little nervous twitch to him. I bought him something to drink, and we sat and talked for about an hour and 45 minutes after seeing the pictures and seeing the blue car that I seen him got into yesterday. So shock right now, and he told me his name was Peyton. So it's a shock.
And we did see a blue car get taken away from this scene just about a half hour or so ago. And you were saying that you were speaking with him on a bench that's located outside of this Tops.
Yes.
That's the bench that earlier today, when I first got here, you were the first person I spoke to, you were telling me that bench is your office.
Yes.
And you usually like to stop and sit there and talk to people that are passing by. Today you didn't stop.
Yes.
So walk me through your afternoon here.
So there's a black brother, just, he was speaking to the man who went on to kill all the black people. And, very this behavior of the black person, like, he wants to talk to a random guy and about string theory and all this kind of stuff. And he came across as a genius. I see similarities between this and one of Dylan Ruth's friends. I'm going to see if I can find that video. But
Here at the Tops.
Well, I'm in there, got me some a juice, and I didn't want to sit there today, so I walked across the street and I opened up my juice, and as I opened up my juice, I heard what I knew wasn't a firecracker, and I looked up, and I seen a guy shooting people. Then I seen a security guard run inside. And then I seen him going after him, shooting. And I saw him come back out, and he had all camouflage on.
Oh, so you refer to him as a genius. Yeah, that's an interesting term to use. I don't know. It's like, do Jews refer to Hitler as a genius? Because he was very intelligent. But was that a word they would use for a person who did that? Is there any context behind that? But whatever.
And glasses and helmet, and then he put the gun to his head, and he dropped it. He took off his gloves. He took off his gun.
Interesting fact. Usually when I talk to white supremacists, one of the things they do try to get suspect white supremacists, they try to get me to admit that Hitler was an amazing strategist and a genius person. It's funny that actually happens. It's interesting.
Put it down. He took off his vest, and then he got on his knees and laid down and put his hands behind his back.
Hello. I don't know. It's some jumpy. Is that it? Is that this? I don't know. Who knows? It seems to. Oh, maybe because it didn't upload the rest. Who cares? Anyway, let's look. We're gonna look at another comparison now. Hold on. Hello. Share. Open video. Let's see if I can find the other one. Just a quick comparison. You know how we do. Where is it? Show number 80, please. Where are you? Nope, Black Betterment. The shows. There we go. 88, top one. Nice. And let's see if I can find that old video. It looks like this one. Let's have a sneak peek on the peak. All right, play. This is from.
He just said that he was on.
Roof was a white guy who killed people in a church. Black people in the church. Oh, elderly again. Elderly, same kind of MO. And what else did he do? He was treated very kindly by the police. They brought him Burger King, this kind of stuff, and he got to the place okay. This is his black friend.
I heard a bunch of people at the University of Charleston, and he stopped talking about it. And I said, and I think he thought it went over my head that I didn't catch it. And I was like, what'd you say? Why you want to hurt those people in Charleston? Like, what's your grudge against them? And he never said anything about it. He just stopped talking about it. And he just said in 7 days, they all got 7 days. And that was on last Wednesday. And then Wednesday coming, he shot all these people in the church. And I don't even think the church was his primary target because he told us he was going for the school. But I think he couldn't get into that school.
He said he told us. Well, when did he tell you, mate? Okay.
Well, because of the security and all that. He never said it. I've never heard that. Not once did I hear him say it. And we've been drunk plenty of nights. We've been so drunk that he's passed out on the side of his car, and we had to take him in the house. And not once in any of that did he say anything racist. Not once. Like, we all took his gun from him. We took his gun and we took it in the house and put it in the air vent. But because of me and Joey's records, we both were not allowed to be around firearms. So his girlfriend was just like, y'all got records. I don't think Dylan's gonna do nothing. Just give him his gun back. So we gave him his gun back. I just know that his mom had took the gun from him, and somehow, I don't know if he went back and took it from her. She gave it back to him. I have no idea about that. But he got the gun back, and he came over here, and then that's when all of us seen the gun for the first time. My opinion about Dylan doesn't change. My feelings about him doesn't change. I still love him as a friend.
All right. Interesting way to... That's a black guy, by the way. He just murdered him. But there was another one here. Hold on. What's this? Oh, hold on. Cancel that. Stop. Is this the next one? Let me just make sure it's the right one. Is that one? All right. Let me just rename it so it doesn't overlap. Name these things better. Shame on me. All right. Where are we? We're gonna share one more. It's a lot of sharing, but I'm sure we're gonna get flagged. But let's that's why it's good to catch these shows live. So I didn't get time to blackify these videos. Let's look at this. We're using comparative studies of black people after white people or white supremacists or race soldiers have massacred black people. With are black people too kind, or maybe priorities a bit twisty to it, whatever. Let's have this.
Where did he stop when he was here? He would just.
This is Dylan Roof's back friend.
Secret right here.
Have a video. There's plenty on the internet. We just got to.
Sure, I'll show you guys the Dylan Lake. The Dylan Lake.
So you would just crash out.
Yeah, like that.
What's your reaction to the news about Dylan?
Like that he actually did everything he said he was going to do. And I don't feel no different today than I felt about him before he did this stuff. Like I said, who's to say Dylan was in his right mind? Nobody knows what anybody got through.
Was Dylan ignorant? Was he racist?
No. Like everybody's making him out to be racist, but here I am in front of you today as a black man and telling you I look at him no different today than what I looked at him last week. Because he never said anything racist to me, never treated me any different than he treated Justin. You
said at the beginning of the interview that at one point he might have said something, but you didn't remember it. What did you mean by that?
Like he told us that he was not, that church wasn't his primary target at all. That's why my heart goes out to those non-family, because you guys weren't the targets.
What does that mean?
He wanted to shoot that school up, UCA, University of Charleston. It's 3 miles up the street from that church.
He told you
he
wanted to attack the school.
Yeah, he had no intentions on harming those people in that church.
Can you just tell me more about when he told you this?
We were on our way to the river. It was on a Wednesday because we dropped them off at the lake. So he was like, he's going to shoot the school up. And I was like, what? And he just stopped talking about it. He never said anything else about it. He was just like, they all got 7 days to live. Who knows? Like, how many friends do you have that's killed 9 people within this week? So how do you take it serious?
As close as possible, can you remember what words he used to say what he said?
That I want to shoot the university up, and they all got 7 days to live. And Wednesday he did it and shot that church up.
Did he give you a reason as to why he said he might want to do that?
No reason. I just think it all boils down to his childhood. Him and his parents aren't on good terms. Like I said, without the support of your parents, you'll do things you wouldn't think you do.
When he mentioned the school, did he have a grudge against the school in the past or anything like that?
I don't even know if he knew anybody at school. Like he had no grudge. He wasn't an angry person.
And he never mentioned the church before either?
Never. Like I've never heard him say anything racist. I've never heard him say anything about hurting black people, and specifically black people only. Not once.
Yeah, very, very good show having it. The sickness in the black community is we need to really this is almost like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's there's like a disconnect, very big disconnect, and it's almost like the woman, both women who were interviewing, weren't really asking the questions like, well, he told you going to kill anyone. What did you try to stop him? Did you try to call for help or ring anyone? And obviously he's done it now, and it's almost like for them it was just Tuesday, now it's Wednesday. And the black guy they used to focus as the main narrator, interesting. Just I don't know what that's about. Anyway, so that basically there was obviously a unfortunate killing in Buffalo, New York, and we're using the case study and we're looking at black people how they react to it, and then obviously we're looking at Dylan Roof, another mass killer, and how black people then reacted to it and whatever. Um, and now also, I mean, we don't want to like conflate two different things in the sense of there's also at the same time a beef going on in the underground hip hop world. I think I've got it where two rappers they beef each other, whatever, but they found each other, and I think one of them got attacked in a bar or something like this. Let's see if we can find it. It's going to be a bit loud, I assume. Let's see if we can put that down. We don't want
and they want to be me, yeah. Man, don't got CDs. I ain't even on TV yet. Flex.
So this is two rappers, underground, semi-famous esque, whatever, right? But one of them didn't like the other one, and I think his friends found him in Buffalo, New York, and they all fight in the bar. Not the best kind of way to behave, but yeah, and that's them fighting in the bar. I think what people are saying is like, let me turn it down. Blah, blah, blah. What people are saying is, this kind of aggression towards each other over whatever rapping or whatever it is, right? But maybe as a collective, as a city, you can have that energy towards people who try to murder the old people. Maybe that might be, because we didn't really see this. And apparently, could be wrong. If I'm wrong, correct me, please. But I think they actually apprehended the guy, and then they wait for the police to come, and he wasn't harmed. No one really tried to get any kind of, there was no weapons pointed towards him. And I think, but when it comes to like these kinds of stuff here, chairs are flying, tables are flying, blood, black eyes, emojis, hullabaloo, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's just it's something to think about. I was going to show you another video in Nigeria with it, but this might not be appropriate, right? Unfortunately, in Nigeria as well, there's religious tension going between a Christian lady who allegedly blasphemy and she was stoned. Not acceptable. I probably have to cover it as a separate show to us. But heart goes out to that. All that kind of stuff, and that is obviously religious tension in Nigeria. Probably won't best show that video. It's just not. We won't mix it too. But anyway, what we say, yeah. So let's go back to their thing. What was it? Okay, are black people too kind towards our enemies? And I think, I'm trying to show that parallel between how black people treat each other over minor things. But when mass murder happens, it's like, I don't know. It's you don't want to have revenge, of course not, do you? But you don't really get that kind of narrative flying around. That kind of narrative seems to be reserved for like rap battles and looked at me in a horrible way. When it comes to mass murders of old black people, not really circulating. And then obviously you then get the narratives of black friends of the white race soldiers, and we can go back to your friend here. Let's go back. Because I know why it stopped. I actually know why it stopped now because it didn't upload the whole thing. So hold on. Let's find your friend's actual video again. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one.
And right now we want.
It is that one. Found it. Voila.
We want to go.
So
here, tell me more about that.
I seen him and he looked strange in the neighborhood.
Strange in the neighborhood. All right, that's good. First, don't want strange people in your neighborhood. They might kill everyone.
Anybody had a Genius shirt on.
Oh, that's where he got confused because he had a Genius shirt on. That's where he got a bit topsy-turvy.
So I wanted to see if he was a genius.
Of course you would. That's what you want to do.
And we sat and talked about.
What did you talk about, mate?
String theory.
Critical race theory.
The beginning of civilization.
The beginning of civilization.
And he seemed like he was a genius.
He seemed like he was a genius. All right.
Actually, he said he came up just to see the countryside, and he was going to go out camping. He bought a big thing, a jug of water. He had a little nervous twitch to him. I bought him something to drink.
Yeah, bought him something to drink. All right.
We sat and talked for about an hour and 45 minutes after seeing the pictures and seeing the blue car that I seen him got into yesterday. So it's a shock right now, and he told me his name was Peyton. So it's a shock.
And we did see a blue car get taken from the.
Does this gentleman spend this amount of time with other black people? Probably. Who knows? Buys them drink, talk about string theory. Who knows?
The scene just about a half hour or so ago, and you were saying that you were speaking with him on a bench that's located outside of this Tops.
Yes.
That's the bench that earlier today, when I first got here, you were the first person I spoke to. You were telling me that bench is your office,
Yes.
and you usually like to stop and sit there and talk to people that are passing by.
He's actually got sign written on his t-shirt. Is it Black King?
Today you didn't stop.
Yes.
So walk me through your afternoon here at the Tops.
Well, I'm in there and got me some.
Can't read
a juice.
Hey, let me know.
And I didn't.
Black King, something facts. I can't.
I'm gonna sit there today, so I walked across the street.
Great. They put the pop up
and I opened.
Sure is
up my juice, and as I opened up my juice, I heard what I knew wasn't a firecracker, and I looked up and
Is that nutritional facts? Black King nutritional
I
facts.
seen a guy shooting people. Then I seen a security guard run inside, and then I seen him going after him shooting. Then I saw him come back out, and he had all camouflage on, and glasses and helmet, and then he put the gun to his head, and he dropped it. He took off his gloves. He took off his gun. He put it down. He took off his vest, and then he got on his knees and laid down and put his hands behind his back, and they arrested him.
Wasn't harmed when he was unarmed. Wasn't harmed when he was unarmed.
At that point.
And the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, you were telling me about the security guard, the former Buffalo police officer who has tragically died in this incident. You were telling me today he told you no lingering around the store. We gotta keep it clear.
Yes.
You credited that man with saving your life.
Yes, I heard him say to someone, "There's no lingering around the store." So me knowing that he was a Buffalo police officer, I never really wanted to give him an opportunity to say anything to me. So when I do go, I shop and I leave, and that's the reason why I left, because I heard him tell people that a couple times. So you don't really got to tell me something 4 or 5 times for me to understand. And from what I heard, he went back and he shot at him when he went in the store. So yeah, but if he wasn't there, I would have been sitting there.
All right.
So I'm definitely thankful that I heard him say that. Yes, I'm definitely thankful to Mr. Salters. Yes, definitely.
Well, Mr. Lewis, thank you so much for joining me here tonight and for telling me your story earlier today. I appreciate it.
This is like, I don't know. Is this? I could be wrong. I'm probably looking into it, but is this the right kind of interview to have in the circumstance? I don't know.
This entire community here is mourning this tragic loss. There's a memorial set up down Landon Street here. A truly challenging, difficult, sad, heartbreaking day here in the city of Buffalo. For now, live on Jefferson and Landon.
Didn't really come across that way, but okay, cool. Fair enough. That's what happens. Right. Okay. Okie dokie doke. Not good, but what are you gonna do? Right. Let's see what we can find when we find that cool thing, which is there we go. It's there. All right. So I'm not gonna play any other videos. How long? 10:50. I probably started 10 minutes late. What I'm gonna do now, I won't throw the link out yet. If you guys gonna be said, throw it in the group. You can come in anytime you want, whatever. When I throw the link out, we're gonna look at. I'm hoping this can work. I'm just gonna roughly skim. We're gonna try to balance the horrible news with something maybe a bit more uplifting, productive to an extent. Maybe every week we can look at a certain type of black business if I can find links and stuff. So what do I have here? I've got. Let me see if I can share. I think you have to go. Stop screen share, screen. And let's see if I can find the actual window, which is owned by these guys. Share. Look at that. All right. So go to the top. Da-da-da-da. So big up KR Gooseby, a black lady, it looks like. August 20. Nice lady. Thank you, sister. And what she's done is she's collated some 34. I don't think it's 34, but all right, cool. See if I can make more space in it. Oh, look at that. Bigger, better, bolder, blacker. All right, cool. I think that should be a nice ratio for the guys at home. Let's get rid of these ads. I don't know why it's there. ITV. All right, cool. Yeah, 34 black-owned shoe brands to love and support. So let's try to like see if we know any. If not, let's go follow them on Instagram. Let's see what they are. So what is the first one in the? Okay. All right. Let's see the first one. All right. Bacau, could be saying that wrong. Shame on me if I am. Shame on me if I am not. Who's Bacau? Looks like what is this? Meet your everyday shoe inspired by traditional Sudanese footwear. So this is from Sudan. So the man from Sudan or the woman from Sudan, don't know, because we're both. Offers modern take on classic designs made of the softest. Oh yeah, the first leather. Its flats will help you. Okay, good. So for those who want to know what that is, that's BAR. Maybe I should just copy and put it in the thing. Oh, you can't copy and paste. Look at that, and I've ruined the thing already. When you come in, it doesn't even work because I love all these pop-ups. Who don't we just love pop-ups and the UX of this thing? I'm sure if you scroll, it'll stop you. All right, good. I should be able to just copy that. So if you want to follow these guys, let me put their thing in. I don't know if it works. Probably not. It would be great if it did, but that's where it works. So we've got some Sudanese brand there. They make shoes. Just get put out there. This next one. All right. Aminia Abdul Jahila. Very thought-provoking imagery. It's got a little thing here. Let's see if we can go to. Oh, yep. It gets even more. Getting down in 30. Okay, yeah, very nice. All right, but it's all about shoes, guys. So let's look at the shoes. Where are we? All right, so trying to make that attention. Little video here. All right, look at that. Well done, this person. Who are they? What happens when a dancer is shared on stage with Janet Jackson and Britney Spears creates a shoe line? All right, meet Aminia Abdullah Jahila, who launched her namesake label in 2012. All right, this feminine brand offers the prettiest heels to spice up your life. All right, her motto is try something different. Why not? Or try something different, sport black. So let's see is this a link as well? Let's see if we can view the profile because Instagram is a number. No, we can't even log in. What's that about? So I don't know. Let's see if I can copy this. Can't do it. No, I ain't gonna do it. Ain't gonna log in because bad UX. They should just click on the button and it works. Don't want to do that. Want to make people's lives harder. Very all over the shop. Let's see if we click on this one. Maybe the website might be a better one. All right, let me give them, actually give them the website. That's more important. So we're going to push you on the website. Zing, bang, bang. Look at that. All right. There's their website. Support black businesses all day long. She makes shoes. So this week we're looking at shoes. I suspect most of them are women's shoes. But, shoes are shoes. All right. This Angie's Bethnal shoes, I believe it is. Unfortunately, the Instagram isn't working. Okay, so maybe let's shop now and see what happens when that works. Oh, let's look at their website. Looks nice. Look at that little look at that. All right, pop up. Why not? Because we want to see that. That's what we want to see. Pop ups. Tell me. All right, nice little UX. Nice little website. Look at that. Nice popping colors. Go support them. No, we don't want this, mate. We're trying to view your site. Stop selling that stuff. Looks like it's probably based in the States, to be honest. I swear wasn't it a UK one? Could be wrong, but maybe it's universal. Who knows? I don't know. I think the site was UK, but it's all over the world. It's all good. It's all good. So if you don't know, now you know. We're gonna put that there. Nice little logo. Angie's Bethnal, whatever it is. I'm probably reading that wrong, but shame on me. All right, let's put that in there. Little link there so you can see it because we support our black on business. Oh, have I skipped one? I probably have because I'm a bad person. Okay, Becky Cockley shoes. Let's see if their Instagram doesn't shut down straight away. Yes, it does because you log in. So we're going to ignore that. We're going to go straight to their store because why do we care about Instagram? We care about their store here because that's their direct thing. Nice and one of those. So it's good to see. Oh, sorry, go back. It's good to see black people. Oh, look at that. Wonderful. Excellent. Is this her? Maybe, maybe not. Looks like it is. Wonderful woman. Big up yourself. Are you based in the States as well? Maybe. Yeah, I see dollar signs. So, either way, support that. We're going to put your link there because we care here. We care over here. All right. How many more we're going to? What's the time? We'll do 4 minutes of this and then we're going to throw the link out. Okay, bro. Okay, yeah. Oh, that's nice. Brother Villies looks like a model there. Make sure her feet's being shown. All right. Chelsea Paris. All right, cool. Big up them. All right. Ducky Confetti. That's a famous one, right? That is a. Why have I heard that one? Yeah, everyone should. You should all know that one. Maybe I have. Maybe I haven't. Looks like a slipper kind of brand. Big up brother or sister, whoever runs it. Probably all women, to be honest. Either way, I'll just put it in there because it's there. Let's see. It said 34. I'm not gonna call 34. Fenty. I think they're famous. Them ones. Yeah, I should know that. It's either fetish or a fetish, but fetish. All right, cool. Heron Preston, big up yourself. The shoe there. All right, who's this? Who's Jessica Rich? Got Cardi B as your person showing stuff off. JJ Gray rolls off the tongue really well. JJ Gray, big up JJ Gray. Joanne Verna. All right, there you go. Vernan, I should say. Yeah. Vernay. Say so what? Joanne Vernay. There you go. Forgive me if I say anyone's names wrong. I'm small screen and I'm looking at two things at once, so shame on me. Kamuni. All right. If you know these, let me know. Probably don't. Kendrell Miles Designs. All right. Maybe we should have someone special come on for Economic Day or some kind of special thing, some kind of branding. Yeah, okay. Kenny Rapu. Can't be that one. What's that? Kyra Feet. 2Ks. Is that 2Ks? Kyra Feet. Well, it's probably pronounced different for 2Ks, but what are you going to do? Oh, look, nice stand. So, those are Meliobu. I'm saying that wrong, but because I said it wrong, let me give you a link to their thing. Born in Brazil, raised where? Born in Brazil, raised in Ivory Coast. All right, that's nice little journey there. We're going to just post that one and we're done. All right, we're good. We've done our weekly roundup of black business shoes for yous, for Jews. Yes, right, and they were women. Big up the sisters. Quite a lot. I should really take some time later to really. Maybe I'll put this in some kind of database and send it. The proper label. Interesting. The proper label. What's that one? Cool. All right. Cool. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, what I'm gonna do, guys. You know the rules. Even though I did start 10 minutes late, so shame on me twice. Was fixing the PC and it didn't work, so I had to fix it for my family. But we're gonna put this out here. I think no, that's the wrong one. Wrong one. Shame on me twice. Like 3 times. I keep putting the wrong one. Let me put a proper link. So we're gonna put the link out there. Feel free to jump in, family, discuss the topic. We shall skip back to the topic where we share screen. Stop share. Yep, stop share. Oh, come on. Where are we? It was open. Found you. Wow. So the question is, share. Are black people too kind towards our enemies? Are we? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is the wrong conclusion, or maybe we're too harsh. What do you guys feel at home? I think I've pointed. I mean, if you look at the forum, there's so many links there, but half of them are actually black-owned shoe businesses by black sisters. But the last one there is the link to the Steam Yard. I'm just putting it one more time for. Let's put link to the lobby. Link to the lobby. All right, it's in there now, family. So you want to jump in? Normally we will end the show after an hour or so, but when people jump on, we add extra hour to hear their points of view. Today, we just did a quick case study of, unfortunately, when black people are massacred by race soldiers, media seems to show a lot of sympathetic, intellectual-esque, non-intellectual, really. Well, except for the last guy, that was terrible. People kind of like very odd co-signing-esque, very non-aggressive, very passive. All of this straight out show hugging people. Let's look one more time because we want to see that this kind of behavior. Yeah, reverse. So where are you, brother? Let's say this.
Grassroots organizations that have been here, since earlier today, just hugging people, loving on people, and letting them know that whatever they need, we are here for them.
Lenny, thank you so much, and I am so sorry for your loss. I can't even begin to imagine.
Can I hug you? I mean, I wanted to hug you. I just want to hug you. I just want to hug you because that's what we need.
Yes.
We just need hugs.
We need hugs. Yes, we do. We need to come together right now more than anything.
And you know what I mean? It's from all over the city, we need to come together.
You know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to have to do maybe next week, just because obviously I was rushing around. I couldn't get. I might make an actual collage of this hug fiasco. This is quite a lot of it. Let me just keep playing that. Hold on, go ahead.
And hug one another.
Yes.
And I can see us out here for the next 2 or 3 days, just being out here praying for one another, hugging one another, showing love and support, and finding out whatever resources that we have and that they need. We want to make sure that we get it to them.
All right, let me download. Guys, I'm literally on the fly trying to be that guy. You know why? Because I feel like it's interesting because I typed in one thing and I realized there was a consistent theme here. You know, like when we see themes, we get very excited because we start realizing the patterns that black people seem to do, and then obviously when black people do some patterns, it gets documented and it gets promoted. And at a certain point, it might actually be something that's planned or something that could be influential. And we have to ask, does this behavior work in black people's best interest? Very good question. So like I said, this is all on the fly. Hold on. Is that the same guy? I just want to make sure because I don't want to be clicking on a different guy. Oh, who's this? Okay, let us right. I'm just downloading as you speak. You know it is. Oh, great. Perfect time to give me an advert, mate. I'm not trying to see that advert. So this is all good. It's almost like a Columbo thing. I'm just downloading as I see it, mate. It's all on the fly, you know. It's all on the fly. It's going to download and see it, and obviously to you guys, give you it as it is, so we can see that there seems to be a pattern here. Now, this is not me doing some research, and I've just collated it. Download that, thank you, my family. All right, bam, bam, bam. So let me see if I can just draw this all in one folder, so I can just give it to you fresh and full and fantastic. Where are we? Look at this on the fly. This is Mr. Technology today, man. All right, where are we? Download folder, please. Okay. Oh, still downloading, but this one looks half done, so I can actually throw these in the to-do link. Excellent. My machine is. You can hear the fans of my machine really get extra because I'm. Come on, man. Show on, man. What's going on? Granddad machine now, man. Now it wants to start telling me how much it costs. All right, hold on. I should really use a mouse up. You know what? This is not nice anymore because it's not. It's. Come on. Oh, what? Let me open it from there, man. Whatever. All right, let me go there. Share video. Download. All right. Where are we? To this one? Oh, yeah, let's look at this one now. See what below.
Face to face with hatred.
Punch him.
Would you yell?
Yes.
Would you punch?
Yes.
For Aaron Courtney, a high school football coach from Gainesville, Florida, the answer was hug.
No. That's not what you want to be doing, my friend. I'm not afraid so to murder your grandma and children.
Courtney was on his way out from a protest against white nationalist Richard Spencer's speech at University of Florida when he spotted his chance to confront someone who hates his very existence. He just had one question.
What is the question, my friend?
What you don't like?
That's what you wanted to tell him? Look at the brother's eyes. Something not right there.
But Randy Furness, neo-Nazi skinhead, didn't have an answer. Instead, he stared. I could have hit him. I could have hurt him, Courtney told the New York
Would have been a good option at that time.
Daily News. But something in me said, you know what? He just needs love.
Yes. But from you, probably not.
That's when Courtney, taking his father's teaching as a bishop at heart,
I see. Okay, so we see the root of the problem.
Offered Furness a hug.
Yeah.
And finally, he got an answer. I don't know. It's a gesture that a former white supremacist recommends as more effective than a punch, and Samantha
It's actually not. It's actually not. This has been proven.
B recently even dedicated a whole tongue-in-cheek segment to it.
I would imagine in the history of the world, nobody's changed their opinion because they got punched in the face, because it now makes them the victim. So, hug a Nazi.
Christian Piccolino.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Now runs Life After Hate, a counter-radicalization group, and says that the key to reaching and reforming white supremacists is understanding.
All right, so black people, it's not your jobs to, teach race soldiers why they shouldn't kill you, why they shouldn't harm you. This is not the best strategy for alpha males, men, the guardians of the community. It's not correct behavior at all. If you don't want to confront them in any kind of physical way, I'm not saying you should. Focus on building your community, defending your women, economic structure, black love, family, this kind of stuff. Something that you don't have to get your hands dirty. But the hugging business, no, sir. We see a pattern. Now I'm going to keep playing this video. Go, let's keep playing it.
The best way
Yes.
to destroy hate is with love.
I'm sorry. You said what now?
I know it's a comedy skit there, but it isn't. That is not true. The best way to destroy it is not with love. It's with inward mobility, fixing your community, love didn't defend Tulsa, Oklahoma. It wasn't that. You need to have military might. You need to have strategy. You need to look after yourself.
Daryl Davis, a blues musician from Chicago, has employed love and understanding as tools in dismantling hate. Over the last 30 years, 200 Ku Klux Klan members have given up their robes as a result of their friendship with Davis.
If you spend 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, with your arch enemy, you will find that you have something in common with him or her.
But many don't agree with Davis. In a sit-down with two Black Lives Matter activists in his documentary Accidental Courtesy, he tries to explain his approach.
We all have to live in this country together. Okay, we do. Otherwise, we're going to end up self-destructing.
Instead of spending time collecting the history of hate, why not spend that time trying to collect the history that was stolen from us?
Critics of Davis and of those trying to fight hate with hugs ask, why must the burden of being the bigger person continuously fall on the oppressed, and specifically on people of color? And while the concept of hugging the racism out of a person is attractive, the reality is that doing so puts yourself at risk when facing someone whose entire ideology is at odds with your safety. It's a question that separated schools of thought in the civil rights movement too. Malcolm X urged for equality by any means necessary,
Big up, Malcolm.
while Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. preached about the weapon of love.
Big up, Martha. Shame with me. Big up Martin as well. Although he did change his mind at the end, so he understood that maybe something to think about.
If we are arrested every day, if we are exploited every day, if we are trampled over every day, don't ever let anyone pull you so low as to hate them. Use the weapon of love. We must have compassion and understanding for those who hate us. We must realize that so many people are taught to hate us that they're not totally responsible for their hate. But we stand in life at midnight. We are always on the threshold of a new dawn.
I think we should remix it today, potentially, rather than hate those who hate you. Take the hate that people have for you and transfer into love for your community and yourself, and make you even more dedicated to practicing black love and black economics. That's what I would recommend. Once again, black people are being trained to, be forgiving and all kind of zippy-doo that stuff. It doesn't really work. It hasn't worked for many years.
There's no manual for how to erase hate and intolerance. What is the right way to approach a Nazi?
Focus on your own community group and do not show this propaganda of black people. It is a demanly device. Such visuals, you couldn't have leadership from these kinds of stuff.
Is there one? But if there were a chance you could somehow open someone's eyes to a new perspective through kindness, would you?
No, sir. not as it pertains to race soldiers and murdering black people and just hating someone for their very existence. Your best bet is to focus on the destruction that has happened because of the legacy of that behavior, and be dedicated to fixing black issues, not taking your energy, time, resources, and TV time hugging people who despise you. This is a part of being collectively inadequate, but we're going to rectify that. That's why we're here. Thank you very much.
For Uprocks, I'm Steve Vasquez.
All right, so look at the case study now. Let's see if we can see more hugs for hugs and hurrahs. Let's see if we got any more hugs and hurrah videos. I've downloaded a few, but let's see what we can do. The show's 88. Let's see this one. All right, so let's have a sneak peek. Have a peek at this. This was there was a lady. She walked into her house. She believed she was in her own house, but she actually was in someone else's house, and she ended up shooting ominous St. Lucian descendant black male, I believe it was, who was in his own house. And this is looks like, I could be wrong, I didn't notice this before, but it looks like the black judge is crying. Maybe just a second, eyes. Let's check TV. Yes, she is. She's crying. Oh my gosh, black people finish. Actually goes, sorry guys, I usually try to stay, control, but maybe black people truly are finished. So now we have the brother of the murder victim hugging the woman who murdered his brother, and the judge there. I remember there was a police black officer who was rubbing their hair at one point. Black people actually finished.
I don't want to say twice or for the 100th time what you've or how much you've taken from us. I think you know that. But I hope you go to God with all the guilt, all the bad things you may have done in the past. Each and every one of us may have done something that we're not supposed to do. If you truly are sorry, I know I can speak for myself. I forgive you.
Okay.
And I know if you go to God and ask him, he will forgive you.
Which God?
And I don't think anyone could say it. Again, I'm speaking for myself, not even bad for my family. But I love you just like anyone else.
Okay, inappropriate.
And I'm not gonna say I hope you rot and die just like my brother did, but
I think so. Those who have been brought up this way, you're probably thinking, well, what else could you be saying? You could use this time to talk about your brother, the one who was killed. Make it more about him rather than about the person who killed him.
I personally want the best for you.
You have to show me after 9/11. Show me the people who said the same thing for, the guys who threw the planes at the building. Even in negligent claims, there's plenty of negligent claims where someone maybe fell asleep at the wheel and killed someone. Is this the same thing they say? Let's see.
And I wasn't gonna ever say this in front of my family or anyone, but I don't even want you to go to jail.
So we have to look at the psychology, as in some black people, many, they actually, and I showed this a few months back, or maybe a year ago, where we were in South Africa, and obviously South Africa has gone through years of trauma, and after the apartheid was allegedly shut down, they showed an interview of there was a white people living in not shanty towns, like a township they call them, a very rough, ready condition they were living in. And then they showed the black people, asked them what they think, and they were heartbroken. Going, I can understand black people being poor, but to see white people live this way, this is just, they're not built for that. So this is what I'm saying about how marketing and this kind of stuff really can mess with the psychology of and it's like, you know, and this the brain computer of black people. And I suspect maybe in this scenario it could be going in here, maybe with the judge, the police, and the black man, where you know they feel more sorry for the woman who murdered their brother or whatever it is, rather than the fact that he's no longer there. He was there. He was in his own house, innocent, committed no crime. He was there to learn. He was murdered in his own house. This is how they speak.
I want the best
No, sir. No, sir.
for you
Need to rethink that.
because I know that's exactly what both of them would want you to do.
We have to ask ourselves, if we were murdered in a similar way, would we want the best for the person who killed us in that way? So that's your homework, family, to think of, is that what you want? Would your kids want the same thing? Let's have sneak peeks, you know, give them that homework to the next week we can find out the truth.
And the best would be give your life to Christ.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say anything else. I think giving your life to Christ would be the best thing that both of them would want you to do.
So what this guy is saying is not to go to jail, but to become a Christian, his type of Christian, and free from all the crimes, negligence, and this kind of stuff, right? And he will be satisfied.
Again, I love you as a person. And I don't wish anything bad on you.
So we definitely don't, you know, have any ill will towards his brother. He's living in the system, and this makes sense to him. And you know, he's gone for loss, but we are using it as a case study. We do want to see the equivalent of the opposite happening if we get the non-black person doing that towards a black person. But usually, the way the media and the information is presented a very different way. So you know, you don't get that similar kind of outcome. So it's almost like you're more likely to realize that the person who did the crime needs to pay.
I don't know if this is possible, but can I give her a hug, please?
Now, if I was a judge, I would say that is inappropriate, but let's see what the judge says.
Please?
Alex, again, he really wants to do it?
Yes.
It was very nice of them. And some people might think, well, no, you don't let him do it because this is his way of actually getting his arms around the person who murdered his brother. So this could be a well-planned strategy of how to exact revenge on those who murder the innocent. So you shouldn't let him do that because you're gonna fall for it. Let's see if he does that though. It's gonna come in a minute. Fair hug? No, sir. No, he really wanted a hug. Now, obviously, everyone's crying. And the police is there on code, making sure he doesn't harm him. Good man. Showing you how you should do your job. Good man. He's a good man at police. He knows how he's on code, and we can learn from that. Okay. That sounds like someone else crying. I hope it's not the judge. Tammy Kemp. All right. More hugs. More hugs. Because with black people, you can rob, kill, stab, cheat, enslave, colonize. All we need is a hug. That's all we need, and all is fine. That's all you need. That's what happens when you beat people down, you call them ugly, you call them rubbish and useless, and you separate them. They long for a hug. Let's see, we got any more evidence? Case study is what it is. We love black people here. We're going to do the case study. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, that one. See the next one. Other one. Let's see. This might be one. Could be wrong. Might be connected to the other one, but let's see. Oh, what the? You can't share more. All right. Let me just throw some videos away. Sorry, guys. Remember we did show earlier. I'll get rid of that one. What else? What other one should go? What's this one? Hold on. What's this? What is that? I think that's even got to get rid of that one. Sorry, guys. And then we also got this Nigerian one. Don't need that. It's probably too much to go through that one. Let's see if we can open this last case study video. Remember, this wasn't research. It was more so just Googling black people with hugs and our whole plethora.
We're here to make sure that you got a voice. That's it.
All right.
Don't think for a second.
The aftermath of George Floyd's death has sparked protests nationwide and beyond, with thousands gathering across the globe in recent days to express backlash against systemic racism and police brutality. Though parts of demonstrations have turned violent, some law enforcement officers are also showing solidarity with participants, sharing hugs and taking knees. Genesee County Sheriff Chris Swanson removed his helmet to assure protesters in Flint, Michigan that he and his team were there to not only protect and serve, but encourage citizens to exercise their rights.
We want to be with y'all for real. So I took my helmet off and laid the batons down. I want to make this a parade, not a protest. You got little ones here, you got dogs, so what's up? So listen, I'm just telling you, these cops love you. That cop over there hugs people, so you tell us what you need to do. Walk with us! Walk with us! Walk with us! Walk with us! Walk with us!
Numerous moving moments like this have since gone viral and helped shed welcome hope on what's been a challenging time of grief and social unrest. From the Camden, New Jersey police chief flashing a peace sign while holding up a banner alongside marchers, to a Times Square officer making a heart with her hands, other cops are doing their part to voice support for those demanding civic change.
Okay.
An embrace between an officer and citizen near Barclays Center in Brooklyn flooded social media but was reportedly brief. The eyewitness who took this video tells Access Hollywood that authorities on the scene got increasingly aggressive toward protesters within minutes of this exchange. George Floyd died on May 25th after being arrested on suspicion of using a counterfeit $20 bill at a nearby convenience store. Eyewitness video showed Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin kneeling on Floyd's
May 25th is in 5 days from now.
neck as he pleaded for his life. Chauvin and 3 other nearby officers were fired, and Chauvin has been charged with third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter. He is due in court later this month. Despite the serious nature of the cause, those
That's another thing. Well, when we go to protest black people all over the world, we have to try to be dignified in our approach and responsible, and might be appropriate to dance and sing. There's obviously a context for it, but I see a lot of this when I was going to protests, and we don't want to always dance and sing everywhere. Sometimes we want to be serious.
getting involved are also finding ways to
Doing the candy dance and stuff, not appropriate. But then maybe I'm just old-fashioned, or maybe I'm new-fashioned. I don't know.
celebrate their common mission together, like this dance party in Newark.
Now, I don't know what happens here, but the thing with black people worldwide is they'll do this kind of stuff, and then if a black person, if a cop or a European or a race soldier was to join in, then there'll be massive claps and hugs, and they're down with us kind of stuff. Need to really kind of end kind of behavior practice. It's not appropriate. But what do I know? What history do I have? Anyway. That's me doing the case studies now. What's the time? 11:25. We have spent a long on this. Well, I'd like to welcome Brother Kel to the show. Welcome, Brother Kel. Oh, probably he's just. There we go.
Yeah, just yes, Brother Raven. How you doing, man? How you doing?
Super fantastic. Good to see you here. Just so you know, this week's topic is: Are black people too kind towards our enemies? And we also look at black-owned shoes. We did it very briefly, but we did it because we have to support black economics. So yes, brother, what we did is we all today. I don't know how much you saw, but unfortunately, in America, in Buffalo, this is one of the outside states in New York State, I believe. Unfortunately, there was a race soldier who murdered a lot of elderly black people. I had their pictures, but I didn't get time to actually put it in this document, unfortunately. Maybe next week. And we were just saying that some of the responses that we see in the video very similar to in the last church shooting by Dylan Roof, is his name. I remember Dylan Roof. Where the media show a lot of black people talking about hugging your enemies and also like distant. So, for example, I could really, maybe I have like the behavioral pattern just like here. So we're using. Oh, is this gone? I just need to remove this because once you remove it, it doesn't play. So I think this won't even play. Yeah, you're right. I need to remove all this stuff. If you remove the link, it doesn't link. I gotta remember that. All right, cool. Whatever. Well, this one probably doesn't work.
Do you have for the loved ones of the victims tonight?
That we are here for them. We are here for them, and we love.
I think watching this video, I'm gonna have to do a case study and collate all this kind of stuff into one video, just a nice edit because it is quite long.
And let them know if it takes being here all night, we will be. We are here for each and every one of them to show that we care for them and they are somebody, and we want to make sure that they are remembered in whichever way they would like to see their loved one remembered. But we want to let them families know, we want to wrap our arms around each and every individual and let them know we are here for them and whatever we can do. As a Buffalo Peacemaker, Buffalo Fathers, grassroots organizations that have been here, since earlier today, just hugging people, loving on people, and letting them know that whatever they need, we are here for them.
Lenny, thank you so much, and I am so sorry for your loss. I can't even begin to imagine. Of course.
What was that about? Why did he need to hug the European news reporter? What is that? What has that got to do with the? What has that got to do with the murders of the ancestors? Now, I don't understand this. We need to really work on that. But
you know,
go ahead,
Brother Raven. I'll be honest with you. There's I've just been listening to the brother and just analyzing things, and the brain. The brain as a primary function, right, which exists by surviving, and you want to survive, whether it be helping the body to have kids, procreate, etc. And the brain, it has a number of chemicals that it releases, and some of the chemicals, it triggers negative, positive, cortisol chemicals, serotonin chemicals, oxytocin, endorphins, dopamines. We want to concentrate on the dopamine chemical, and the reason why we want to concentrate on that is because anything that the brain deems to benefit for its survival, or it makes the body feel good, it releases dopamine. For example, if an individual is yearning for a green smoothie, the brain will reward it for the smoothie, right? But at the same time, if the brain doesn't get the smoothie, right, then it panics. And the panic necessitates that it releases the dopamines to control, which makes you obsessed to smoothies. This is what happens to us as a people. I said this many times, is that we have extreme dopamines for non-African people, to the extent that if we don't, control it, the brain will panic and say you're not going to survive without them. So it releases dopamines for you to cling on. For example, the gentleman here and the other videos. And these dopamines, brother, unless we control them, we are always going to be infatuated with non-African people, whether they do good or bad to us. Our dopamine allows us to be infatuated with them, and we need to control it.
Very good analysis there, brother. The good analysis. Yeah, it is something. like I said, it is a topic we covered quite intensely on there. Just the covering and the practices of black people as it pertains to harm. I think even in the UK with the protests were going, we did cover the brother who's quite famous now. I didn't invite him on the show, but I don't think he would. Well, if he's out there, please jump on if you feel. But it was the brother who protected the European guy who was trying to attack the protesters.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
Patrick,
I remember it.
yes.
Yeah, Patrick. He looks like the late great African freedom fighter Khalid Abdul Muhammad. He looks like him a little bit.
Yes. Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
A mixture of him and Shadow the Gladiator.
that's right. Yeah, and big up to
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's yeah, and I think I did message him at one point, and I asked a question, and I can't remember his answer, but
Right.
I did invite him. I said, brother, if you ever want to come on the show, but I will be talking about how the European media will use your actions to I guess to what's the word where you not stifle, that's too strong, but to kind of coddle black people into not reacting harshly or correctly towards violence and pain. Because it's a story, isn't it? I think if I can, it's a similar. I guess it's a similar story to where is it? Let's see if I can find it in here again. 1,000 forgivenesses. Hold on. Let's see if we got not that one. That one. Let's have this one.
Face to face hatred. Would you yell? Would you
Yes.
punch?
Yes.
For Aaron Courtney, a high school football coach from Gainesville, Florida, the answer was hug.
Yes, that kind of stuff, right? And and
This is the dopamines again, brother Raven. You see what I was trying to explain to her? The brain's panicking, and it needs to survive. So in order for it to survive, it needs to release the dopamines. You see, brother. It's very deep because we as a people have got to understand, right? There's an interesting, powerful word called transgression, and transgression is the act that goes against a law, a code of conduct of any type. And we can say, brother, that all non-African people, brother, they transgress against the human law of a code of conduct of showing humanity to African people globally. Now, what we have to understand is that in order to stop transgression, first of all, you need a military base, right? Or you need to use political science. Now, the political science that we are, what I'm referring to and promoting is that until we get our power, it's very important that the moment a non-African person does any form of unethical code of conduct when it comes to mistreating us as a people, whether it be in religion, socialism, any form of science that runs the world, it's very important that we say, this is wrong what you're doing. I'm not going to take religion from you. I'm not going to, listen to anything what you say or be around you and that. Because by not doing these things, brother Raven, or doing the good, forbidding the bad, you are actually validating for non-African people to mistreat you in religion and in other types of fields. And they're telling themselves, well, no one's going to tell me else, so I might as well do what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is correct and I'm going to get away with it. But if we would only order the good, brother Raven, forbade the bad, right, you're actually helping them to recognize that black people is not going to validate transgression. This is a problem, brother.
The validation of transgression. We have to write that one up. Very important. Very important. But by us not reacting in a certain way, we are showing that it's okay. It's okay to do these things. So yeah. Very, very important. Very, very important. We have to really spell that one out. Guys, I'm throwing the link out there for those who should jump in. Carol, you make sense to the group, everyone together. Some of us are further ahead than give us credit for. Maybe you should interview him one-on-one, Rap Raven, the show. It's a live premiere on YouTube. Yeah, so I did maybe I can message him again. Probably busy doing what he's doing, but I definitely want to show this train some of I think what it is, a lot of the brothers and sisters have been conditioned to behave in a way that isn't in the best interest of black people. And I guess when you reward turn the other cheekism and this kind of stuff, it becomes quite, it's like, there's now there, because this brother, he got a documented show and edited on narrators and motion design and all this kind of stuff to make his deeds look very heroic, whatever it might be. Well, I guess if he just punch him in the face, he'll just go to jail. So it's. But then saying that, if there was a race soldier who was attacking elderly or children, and one of the brothers was to attack him to defend them, how we as a community, we should be raising funds to pay that hero to show that that's something we could cover. How do we reward heroism? Maybe we can make a thing like, if you're a hero and you show bravery, we as a community will reward you. To give incentives, because right now the anti-black racists and the media and this kind of stuff, they give incentives bless the brother, but the brother who was doing the protecting the race soldiers from fighting the community in England, they gave him magazines and deals and documentaries and funding and TV time. But how do you have my other friends who were there, who were actually fighting to defend the brothers and sisters? They weren't given anything. So perhaps as a community we can actually have bravery awards. That's quite a good idea. But I don't know. We have to really refine that. But certain situations where we acknowledge certain things and we try to reward them and set up funding campaigns or something where everyone contributes to say thank you for doing this kind of stuff. I don't know, just an idea. Might work, who knows.
It will work, Brother Raven, because unfortunately, if non-African people reward us for being unsynchronized to go against the best interest of our collective people, then we must do the opposite and reward, because we spoke about this before. Unfortunately, we as a people understand that if we do any form of revolutionary missions, is that the community will abandon our families. They won't help out long term, and we will just be a memory that has been put to sleep. If we look at the Malcolm X's wife, Betty Shabazz, who we are grateful for her work, what she did, she wasn't helped out. Likewise with Martin Luther King, and the list goes on. So we have to campaign and make it marketable to sell to our people that doing any form of revolutionary acts, you will be rewarded. Not necessarily with money. It could be your name being on a road with your tribe written there, or it could be access to certain types of privileges that will help out the collective. Because if we do just reward them per se, brother, then it falls into tribalism, if that makes any sense. We need something where it's like, you are custodian now, and you are one of the representatives to help out the collective. Because remember, if we don't do this, brother, then the pride of, well, I did this, so my family will get taken care of, and it goes back into unsynchronization. So it should be something where they have like a custodian type of way of your help at the collective and etc.
So I'm writing down the 3 R's. Maybe we can brand it. Revolutionary recognition rewards. I'm writing it down. 3 R's. Revolutionary recognition rewards, more than one. The 3 R's there. Got the 3 R's. Maybe we could turn that to a little bit. So we could there. So revolutionary. We can refine the wording, but revolution, recognition, rewards, whatever. Right. So we got these 3 words we play around with, and yeah, like a rewarding revolutionary act. You see, recognizing it and rewarding it. Yeah, it was something we can find, and yeah, a good idea. I think it's something that could really work. Either people have GoFundMe's for, whatever, people who want to come home late and they ain't got any money, whatever. So that we can have GoFundMe's and all kinds of stuff to reward certain behaviors that are synchronized, I guess.
Yeah.
Very good.
Another thing is our Brother Raven, we like how we're on this topic, is that I have noticed, unfortunately, the religious people, and I'm going to label who they are, those of the Abrahamic faith, whether it be the Muslims, Christians, those who claim to follow the religion of the Hebrew Israelites, and also even in African spirituality and stuff, right, is that we do not order the good and forbade the bad when it comes to non-African people in these types of religions. Because as I was watching the video, brother, I've noticed that the brother in the court, he was saying to love God and all these types of rhetoric. This is very, very detrimental to our people, because when you understand and analyze the religion, is that first of all, the Bible teaches eye for eye, tooth for tooth. None of those prophets ever came with the rhetoric that we come with. You see, so we need some form of a filter, brother. That the moment a follower of the Abrahamic faith or a follower of the non-Abrahamic faith decides to use unsynchronized methods as it pertains to non-African people, then we need to put them in their place. That needs to be something that needs to be marketable, because the black Muslims, brother, they don't seem to check the non-African Muslims when they're practicing racism. The black Christians, the same thing. Me being on the earth for a long time, I've noticed, brother, that now all non-African people practice unethical code of conduct. There is nothing but a black Abrahamic follower or a non-black Abrahamic family is going to convince me otherwise. If they do believe that it's wrong, then they have to explain to me why is racism practiced in these amongst these people who claim to follow these types of religions. We need to put them in their check, brother Raven. That needs to be marketable.
Very true. I mean, we are in the background collating the words of who can actually represent publicly, and that way is part of, so that certain people are depowered, have no power when it comes to speaking on certain topics, because they're not synchronized, and they end up doing more damage than good. Unfortunately, in the videos we see, there's more emphasis on hugging non-black people and murderers and race soldiers than there is, and forgiving as well before the people's even buried. Forgiving people rather than defense, black love, retribution, correction, whatever, all the R's. So it is very challenging. But once again, this is how black people are conditioned, and we have to uncondition it. There's much emphasis on understanding those who hate, and not any much understanding on. You will get in a bigger, you'll get a bigger pushback speaking about black love than you will about hugging people who murder you. It's interesting, isn't it? Like, if you were to talk about the concept of why black love is important, you'll get tables will fly across to the ceiling, everything, right? But hugging the person who killed you, ITV News, 6 o'clock, good stuff. Priorities is an issue. But once again, it's It's a step-by-step process, and marketing is important, and also having the correct language to it's like subverting language. So when someone comes with something, the way you respond to it just shuts it down so quickly that it's like, oh, yes, you know what I mean?
It should be, like, brother, all due respect to you, you are not qualified to speak on these particular issues.
No, I agree. I agree.
It needs to be that, brother.
Yeah. You haven't that is, you're not qualified. You're yet to like that, you've yet to pass the test to say that your views can be, any merit can come from your views. Like you haven't put the work in, you haven't demonstrated, you cannot be in this position. Like and that's the thing. I think one thing we can do as well, and this is very important, ask the question. So we can ask like, well, what are your views on this? And that can then, what are your views on Black economics? What are your views on Black love? How do you practice it? How do you promote it? Where is the evidence that you promote and practice these things, right? Because usually that will just send send the conversation somewhere else. I think that's another thing, is like declaring is very important. Like, the where you stand on the situation. Because some people just have no business being at a certain place. For example, this is, I think some of the ladies really did help define this here, but they're saying like, this is a show about Black betterment. So that's where we should be going. If someone is here not wanting to practice that, why are they here? Like, that this is what the show is ultimately about. And obviously you gotta have naysayers, but generally, it would be good if we could start a conversation where everyone wants the same thing, and we're just fizzling the best way to do it, rather than there's a person who is the opposite of what the broadcast is about.
Yeah, most definitely. That could cohere towards Brother Raven, what is synchronized and what is unsynchronized, because you have a lot of people, the men and the women, that will be in an interracial relationship and they'll tell you that they're pro-Black. They'll tell you, go on, brother.
No, and this is something that I've taken quite a few years to really, because sometimes I would focus on other areas, but really, after much research, the Black family is the nucleus of a Black revolution. It's like wanting to sustain and start or help or support a Black family is very important. The infrastructure of a community is family to family, right? And then that is the community. So I think if you want to do anything when it comes to Black empowerment, Black pro-Black, Black betterment, anything of that nature, and you are not synchronized with that concept, then you probably won't qualify. Not in this capacity. And I think marketing that, like making Black love the center of revolution, Black love, Black economics, this kind of stuff. It needs to really be drilled in. And before I would just, because just for ease and to focus on other areas, but now I think I'm gonna have to really go hard on that, and really hard on that, and not to accept unsynchronized methods of trying to, but what ifisms, I think it needs to be night and day. It's like, we know what it means to be a homosexual. You know what it is. So you wouldn't go to a homosexual community and go, but what if I was married to a woman and I'm with her all the time and I'm never with a man, but I'm with a woman, can I still be a homosexual? Like, no, that's not homosexuality. That you wouldn't want to get in the homosexual community and practice straightism or heterosexual, like whatever it's called, it wouldn't make any sense. But yet, pro-black, you get this conversation where people want to be in it and find ways to bend the rules, and not even bend the rules, just completely break them, to be honest. And it happens a lot. But pride is a problem, and it's just a failure.
That's why I believe, brother, that we need to, and this is, as I said, it returns back to our dopamines. We have to control our dopamines when it comes to these three groups. First of all, the religious people who have a white supremacist mindset when it comes to any type of religion. Also, the non-African people, we need to control our dopamines towards them, and then also don't think on as Africans. Now, if we use political science, brother, definitely we need to generalize with wisdom, without being emotional, but with strategies. All non-African people, they all practice unethical code of conduct. The black people need to generalize all of them. This will control.
Hold on, brother. I agree with what you're saying, but how I would put it, and how I put it in the past, is and we have to try to word it in a way where, for example, when you move into a new community,
right,
you automatically lock your doors, and you automatically don't walk down dark alleys at night. Isn't that you think that every single person, is going to kill you or rob your house, but you have to practice a caution, and not throw caution to the wind, this kind of stuff, right? And I think a similar thing could be applied to when it comes to in the community. Like, it's best to assume, that racism could be practiced by anyone outside the community, right? It can be. So rather than lose sleep over it, focus on fixing the community to defend yourself from it.
Yeah, the only thing is, brother, is that for example, you're showing the image of America and stuff right now. Our people, our cousins in America are very aware that the police are shooting them down, right? They're aware of these things. But yes, still, brother, there is a mindset that still makes them don't assume, but agree with the bad deed that's taken place. And that's why I was referring to that it needs to be more kind of direct and a little bit more kind of sharper, because if we was to go to our people and say, you know what, unfortunately, non-African people, they want to exterminate you, they do not like you at all, you're going to get all these different types of rhetorics. No, that's impossible, they're not all this, they're not all that. And because of these things, these harsh words, or even the soft words, it seems to not be working, which is why I say that if we explain the dopamine analogy, what I gave, brother, is that it will give the youth, because I said this to you before, brother, we have to concentrate on the youth, because those who are in their 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, brother, they cannot be saved, brother. Do you understand? But the youth can be. So if we teach them in a cool way about dopamines, serotonin and etc., they'll be able to analyze it and look and goes, wow, this is amazing. The brain releases these things, and it can make me obsessed with things that I don't want to be obsessed with. They'll more lean towards that. Whereas if we just say, assume, then they're not going to follow that, brother, if that makes any sense.
Right. Welcome Issa to the Betterment Broadcast. How's it going, family?
Peace and love, fam. Peace and love. Thank you for letting me in the show.
How you doing, brother?
Peace and love, my brother. Blessings. This to me is one of the most important topics, because it does deal with one of the main issues as to why we've never gone forward. If you think of the most basic instinct that we've got, which is basically to the fight and flight thing, which generally mammals and animals have. So if we're under constant attack, at the very least, when we have the opportunity to show distaste, to defend ourselves, we must show that, and we should have been showing it all the time. So obviously, where we're finding over and, obviously since before, back in Martin Luther King days, and we had Elijah Muhammad and we had Malcolm X talking against the Martin Luther King integration, turn the other cheek talk, and all now, as you've showed in the video, where this brother's basically praying for this woman, and then, can I give her a hug? Do you get what I'm saying? Can I give her a hug? And thing is, like, the feeling inside of him, which demonstrates to the rest of other black people, this is one of the ways we can go. And I've seen situations like that where if you talk against that, you're seen as a troublemaker. And how is that, bruv? Why would you do that? This woman, da, 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 da. Do you know what I mean? No, obviously we weren't there to see the situation. Maybe it was an accident and so on. But at the very least, that should not be on camera, because somebody might be there. They might give, another argument for the side. But I'm saying at the very least, that should not be the example that we're seeing, our children are seeing, with the collective brutality that's going on and collective apartheid and all the rest of it that's going on with our people in America and elsewhere. Yeah, definitely. I do think, as you're both, what do you call it? I think you do come under the term Pan-Africanist and Afrocentrist. What would you say has been your continuous consistent teaching in regards to psychological, emotional, and physical self-defense? What I mean by that is, if you can't physically do anything, what is the thought process that you should be thinking, and what are the feelings you should be having? Because I remember the brother criticized something to do with Abrahamics, as usual, you lot do. But, in ours, it's very clear how we should be thinking. So, and feeling, if we can't do something physically, what would you all be having on that?
Well, the thing is, brother, as I was telling Brother Raven before, as a Pan-Africanist, is that we understand, brother, that there's elements that our ancestors made it perfectly clear that will help us to navigate through these things. So, for example, right, when it comes to dopamines, right, this is a big problem, brother, because the dopamine is the reason why we're falling into so many stuff. We have an obsession with the non-African people. So if we can control our dopamines, right, and focus our dopamine on black love, helping out the community, right, by making the brain know that if you will not be able to survive unless black love is being projected, then the brain will release the dopamines that we are building ourselves to be obsessed with, instead of being obsessed with non-African people. We got to control our dopamines.
Oh, no, I totally understand the neuro and biochemical reactions, reflections, emotional program reactions in relation to neuro and biochemistry. What I'm saying is, in relation to the history of, let's say, your ideology, what has been taught? Because let's say the dopamine, I would suggest, and the neurochemistry probably hasn't been taught. I'm talking, let's say, from either Marcus Garvey or Malcolm X. What is the basic in these situations? What has been taught? So, for instance, if I said Elijah Muhammad's response was, the white man's a devil. Okay, if he shows this thing, he's lying, don't trust him, etc., etc. What was the teaching that you would have going back, let's say, to the same time, Elijah Muhammad, up till now?
Okay, so for example, in African spirituality, right, we have a thing called the Severoth, and it's basically the tree of living. That is an equation of the tree of life.
What did you? No, what word did you use?
the Serproth. It's called the Serproth, and the Serproth is the tree of living that is an equation of light and sound, right? And it's based upon principles. So, for example, we have the Kefa, which is the source. We have Binah, which is understanding. We have Chakma, which is ruling. We have Jevra, which is strength. We have Tithrith, which is beauty. Chesed, which is mercy. Hud, which is majestic. Hezak, which is support. Yesad, which is foundation. And we have Maku. And Maku is the black woman and the black father, right? Now, if we understand these elements, and if we take any of those elements from the tree of living, then there's an imbalance in the African mind as well as the male and the female, which pertains, as I was saying, Brother Isa, is that if we do not control our dopamines, we are disrupting.
Brother, you keep getting away from what I'm asking. Like, I don't know what. Hold on. You started to say African spirituality, but then you started quoting the Hebraic, so-called Abrahamic tree of life, the Sephirah, yeah? And then you started to talk about the Kefa and so on, the Bina, and the basic points on the, what they call, the tree of life, so to speak, the Sephirah, yeah? So that's from the Hebrew and Muslim Spain. So basically the Jews, the Kabbalists, got that tree of life concept from the Muslims in Spain, the Sufis. And then they've developed it into that. It was originally 7, but then it's got 10 points. So I'm saying, why would you tie that into African spirituality?
Because it came from the Nile Valley, brother. Do you see what I'm saying? And when you're talking about the Kabbalah and things like that, came from Nile Valley, brother. This is the spiritual system of Nimrod. You see, it didn't come from the Muslims. But what I was saying was, brother, is that these elements that we're using, right, will help the African mind.
Hold on. You said Nimrod. Why would you say that came? And don't get me wrong. I agree it came from the ancient Kushites. I say the Islam of the came from the Kushites that lived in Arabia. That's what I'm saying. But that's the first time I've heard it say Nimrod. Brother, my basic point, just like I said, Elijah Muhammad, he taught them the white men, etc. Just something basic like that. As in, what was the basic teaching of the Pan-Africanists? Let's say children that were on the march or amongst the group, let's say you had a cookout or whatever, everyone was eating, you would hear conversations as children. So how would the response be if a white person or Chinese or any non-black person disrespected and dishonored a black person? What would the automatic response be? Do you see what I mean? So for instance, if you can't do nothing physically, but you can say words, what would it be for that child to learn? Because the bit I'm focusing on is the imagery of this guy. His brother's been killed by this woman, and he asked the judge, "Can I hug?" And then I'm saying the imagery for our children seeing that crap is, if not a big outcry, then our children will see that as an avenue or a behavior that's acceptable. So for instance, let's say a parent in the household watching that on the news with their black children. If they don't say at that time, you better not be doing that, or that's some disgusting something. If the children don't see the adults say that to that imagery, then it becomes a type of behavior that they can follow, or another choice of behavior that they can follow. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Claude Anderson said,
brother.
let me show you this, brother. Yeah. Claude Anderson, he would use the term inappropriate behavior when certain things are done, and I would use that same term there. That is inappropriate behavior. That's inappropriate.
Who's that?
Claude Anderson.
Okay.
The economist. He would use these terms about certain behaviors that black people do that undermines progress, and that is one of them. Like, it's inappropriate. It's almost nicest term you can do without trying to name call whatever.
Yeah.
It's letting people know that what that person just done is inappropriate. Just like if a woman comes into a church, or a man wearing hot pants, whatever it might be, in a wedding, this is inappropriate behavior. This we cannot tolerate this. Inappropriate. Let them know that this is not gonna run. Not to.
But that's, bruv, the word inappropriate, relates to, as you said, a dress sense. That's inappropriate, which is mild, as you've kind of offended our sensibilities. But when you hug someone that murdered your brother on that particular basis like that, at least for the bloody world to see, the cameras, saying inappropriate. You've put that now on a low level like that. That's extreme disrespect to black life. You basically devalued it. If someone else done it, but the brother of the person done it. So he's basically said, you know what, it don't even matter really, because, you know, maybe he'll go to heaven or whatever. You basically just said that this woman is much more valuable than his brother. It's almost like saying he don't give a damn. Do you get me now? I do understand when you're under siege like they are over there. It's, you know what I mean? It's a different situation. But anyway, you said inappropriate. Okay. But I'm just, because one of the things I was going to say is I partially blame the Pan-African and Afrocentric community, because y'all are the people who have kind of held that, apart from, let's say, the Nation of Islam, but even then they've held like a religious perspective. Y'all have held like the global black mind, so to speak, in the sense that you'll deal with, as you say, Africans at home and abroad, wherever you are. So therefore, in the example of living, of how you deal with these situations, where has been the consistent example? Do you see what I mean?
It is the thing, brother, right? Is that we as Pan-Africanists, brother, we have tried to explain to our people that there is a curriculum that if you remove foundation from the African mind, you're going to be completely lost, as it pertains to Yisad, which means the foundation. Now, when we are trying to explain to our people that, and Brother Raven explains it very well in his blueprint, you have synchronization Africans and unsynchronization Africans, right? And the way forward for the synchronized African is to keep away from unsynchronized African people as well as non-African people. You see, if you don't keep away from them, brother, they'll infect you and then you become like them. So we urge, like Elijah Muhammad, who is the student of Bishop Helen Miller Turner, who taught him Pan-Africanism, which is why the Nation of Islam has a Pan-Africanist ideology in there, is that you have to separate from the non-African people. You don't have to be emotional. You don't have to treat them, but there's techniques and strategies to control your dopamines for them, which will help you out. Which is why he says the European is an entity of the devil. Now, if you understand political science, you will know straight away, okay, don't marry with them, don't spend with them, don't live in a neighborhood. But if you base things on emotions, you're going to want to kill them and things like that. No, it's understood. There's certain words, if you understand political science, which our ancestors always said, brother Isa, is that we must study our freedom fighters, how they dealt with their enemies. You understand? Whether it be the modern day, the 20th century, the 20th century, before even that, how did Haile Selassie dealt with the Italians? You know, how did Harriet Tubman deal with the Europeans in America? There's all these political science and military science tactics that we must use. That is how you deal with non-African people, if that makes any sense.
I totally hear what you're saying. It's kind of, for me, again, one of the things, I can't even remember how it came up again. I must have been in a discussion with someone else. And it was the thing where, I love the fact that my brother, Arat Raven, is using more and more the term anti-black racism, etc. Because I'm saying a psychological self-defense, that means anyone, regardless of their color, who's against us, is included in that. But when you keep saying white supremacy, what it springs to mind to a lot of people who, let's say, aren't yet synchronized yet, or even on that path, it lets them feel that they can be brotherly and close to other so-called brown people who hate us worse than the general, Bill or Bob on the street. Do you know what I mean? So this is a thing where when anti-black, it puts in your consciousness to whatever behavior that people or whatever cultures are out there that are anti-us. So we're centered in this thinking. Whereas even when you say white supremacy, they're centered in the thing. Do you see what I'm saying? But when you say anti-black, it's who's anti-you. And obviously Jews have got that. They know what they're doing when they say anti-Semitic. because their focus is on themselves and therefore to defend from anyone who's anti them. Do you get what I'm saying? When you mentioned just now, I think you brought up the marriage thing, which I heard just before I came on. When I was talking about that a couple of weeks ago, it wasn't actually in Rep Raven. You know, it's unfortunate that he took it to that level where he said something like, it never ceases to amaze him how many black people seem to want to defend this interracial thing. It was nothing to do with that. One of the reasons that I was actually bringing that up a lot and wanting to hear what you all had to say about that is because over the years, so maybe over 20 years, and it's not that often, but it comes up every now and again. Whenever there's a talk about us being African and you can't be, so for instance, let's say a brother who's Ghanaian or Nigerian and he's married to a white woman, got mixed race kids, and he's on the pro-black, let's say, conversation, and somebody from the Caribbean, or even I think we was on a show with Kalam one time, Black American, right? So we're all talking, and as soon as you say that, no, they can't be, married to a white woman or whatever else, they want to pull what I'm a true African and I'm not mixed. So when you're excluding other people, I'm just saying, how would you deal with that situation? Because when they come to us and say you're diasporan and you've got white man's blood in you and slave and all of this slave descent talk, and then they want to come with that, what would you say to that?
Well, you've seen me debate continental Africans before who might espouse that, right? The thing is, it comes down to there is a history that spawns urgency. Yeah. So the diaspora have primal critical urgency, meaning from the African Americans to the Jamaica, for Jamaica to the South Americans, South Africa, the Afro South Africans, what it might be, right? Afro South Americans, sorry. They're around the history. Brazil have a history of trying to genetically eradicate Afro descendants. They imported Europeans to do that. They spread propaganda to make sure that every black person breeds themselves out. We have the documentation. This practice has happened throughout the continent. Whenever black people were prospering, Europeans would bomb economic hubs and prosperous neighborhoods. So much has gone on. So, but hold on. So the black people are the black people in the diaspora are the legacy of that treatment, plus the treatment of rape and this kind of stuff, right? So we understand the urgency, yeah. So we wouldn't get up in that kind of tribal, colorist kind of well, we're from Africa and we won't, because naturally no Caribbean in the time of slavery wanted to be a part of it. Just like no one wants to have battle scars, you get battle scars. So any kind of interaction that we had in the past is perceived as battle scars, and those battle scars we use to inform us of never again, never again. And when we unite with the brothers in the diaspora, it's the ones who understand and synchronize with that who we will network with. If there is a brother and he's longing to be with a non-black woman, and his thing is, well, I am from Africa. I have very little to no European ancestry. I wasn't raped by the enslaver. So I now have a choice to actively practice the same kind of biological outcome with the new European, whatever. This person would demonstrate that they don't qualify to be in any kind of leadership role, and we would just try to give them good advice and maybe some food and this kind of stuff, but they wouldn't be in any kind of leadership.
Even if they've got a black wife, but they don't like the idea of you rejecting somebody who has a white wife. I'm just making the point of the argument. I mean, obviously you got a response, which is the main thing. But I'm just because that was my thing. Of, do you have a response?
I'm glad you brought it up. And it comes down to there has to be. So, for example, can I join the LGBT community but not practice any kind of same-sex loving, not marrying any kind of transgendered same-sex person. But I'm actually married to a woman. I only have intercourse with this woman. I don't fantasize or speak about any kind of sexual with the same gender LGBT. But I want to be perceived as LGBT. Would they let me have that title?
But they might say it's slightly different though, bro.
And then why am I go, guys, I'm gonna make a film about LGBT, and it's basically about me and my wife, and I'm looking after her and I love her very much. And I want you all to know it is LGBT. And they go, well, hold on a minute. When does the LGBT thing happen? I go, oh no, I just want you to believe that because I don't think it's fair that you guys can have that title and I can't have that title. So I want it as well, and that's what it comes down to. It's like everyone wants a belt. Everyone wants they all want a belt. If he's got one, I want one, even if they're not doing what it needs to get that belt. We understand that we need to know how black people are produced. Yeah. It's like the primary way of black people are produced, and that's black man and black woman creating a black family, right? Everything else is just trying to fix something that didn't work. Yeah. And we understand that process, and everyone is equally African, equally black, and equally important in that process. But remember, when we look at the documentation, there is something that's a biological warfare, where in Australia and Canada they documented how, and Brazil, of course, how can we destroy black people? One way is get our lower class people to outbreed them, so the after 4 generations or 2 generations, whatever it might be, those people who are white can have access to what was claimed to be the indigenous people, and they too will be part. Matter of fact, let us actually go and show the evidence, because we always use evidence here. All right, so this woman happily getting all the benefits. This woman, no, sir. Okay. The irony is, last time I saw this woman, she was dating a white guy, but that's just never here nor there. Evil. But what I'm saying is, the Aboriginal people in Australia, they are struggling to get what the government was giving them when it comes to benefits. All their towns are people on drugs and alcohol. It's a terrible sight to witness, and we try to help them. But this woman has book deals, TV deals, gets all the benefits she wants, blonde hair, blue eyes. If you could, I don't know if I can even show that by pressing down. Probably can't. Whatever, it is what it is, right? But what I'm saying is, literally, this is what we're dealing with. So what I'm saying is, this will be the outcome. If you give any black person, especially, we know that we witness black people witness their own brothers die and murder, and then they want to hug and kiss the people who do it. So if you give these type of black people with that psychological training any a 1-inch rope, they will turn into a mile. They turn into a mile. They will turn up with 4 non-black wives and adopt 14 non-black children. They will do this. Listen, like I said, we did a case study of Michael Jackson, beloved brother, one of the most important pop icons of all time. But you saw what happened to him. You saw what happened to him. The brother. We did a case study.
Have you also noticed how a lot of the time throughout our history, the lighter skinned leaders have been ones to being more successful with our people?
Yes, I have noticed in certain areas that is very true. Yes.
Even Malcolm X, they say that Malcolm X was actually not as, what's the word? Not just famous, but there was another brother who actually got more people, because everyone talks about basically Malcolm built the nation after he converted, but apparently there was another brother who was dark skinned who actually made brought a lot more people to the nation. But it seems he has not got as much mention. And we got Farrakhan as well. Do you see what I mean? Both light skinned brothers. And Marley, I'm just saying that it seems that that's one of the ways, whether it's been their way or it's been our way and their way, I've just noticed that being the case, that we seem to be more receptive and that possibly goes back to.
Have you noticed, brother Isa? All due respect to you, that the Honourable Marcus Garvey had the biggest movement, and he was a chocolate brother. You see, so the thing is, brother, is that as a Pan-Africanist, we, first of all, brother, all African people are one family, and that, right? As the red, black, and green flag. We don't like to focus too much on the color factor, brother, because a lot of us are light skin, and some of us are dark skin. And remembering as a people, brother, Africans and obviously their neighbors, the Arabs, suffered with tribalism. This colorism, brother, is foreign to African people. In other words, brother, we could be from the same tribe, and you could be a light skin African, and I could be a dark skin African against another tribe that's dark skin and light skin. You see what I mean? And that. So these colorism thing is foreign to us. However, as long as the one who is pertaining custodian status follows the principles of Pan-Africanism, Black Betterment, right, then they can always fulfill. Here's the thing: when it comes to political science, there's 5 things that you have to base Black people on to see if they're serious or not. The first thing, brother, is commitment to the struggle. The second thing is consciousness with the struggle. The third thing is courage with the struggle. The fourth thing is consistency with the struggle. And the fifth is sincerity with the struggle. These things, brother, is how you be able to tell if a person's serious, whether he's dark skin or light skin, whether he, as long as he's with a Black woman, it doesn't matter what shade she is. She could be chocolate caramel, chocolate vanilla. It doesn't matter. As long as they have these types of criteria with our movement, brother, we can take from them collectively. But if they don't have that, then it's a big problem. And that's how you can tell if they're serious or not.
Before you jump in, brother, awareness is important. So one thing I always try to do when people say things, because within Black men and Black women, there are certain realized shortcomings that I don't want to brush past. So everything Brother Kel said is 110% correct. However, what I add to it is when it comes to custodians, and there is awareness of these shortcomings and awareness of how by osmosis some of these things might happen against Black people. Like there might be a bias, a back of the mind bias that goes into many Black people that comes from low self-esteem. So when it comes to controlling media and controlling products and stuff, because of this awareness, there will be in those custodians the packaging and branding of chocolate, black, dark skin, blue, black, blue diamond people in the most uplifting light to counterbalance the history of that. But this will come just like it was systematically done to destroy. It will be systematically done to correct, but on an honorable, respectful way. More so, fixing what was damaged. If that makes sense.
Well, this was my point, and I'm saying that because we've had, let's say, Malcolm X, Farrakhan, Elijah Muhammad, and what's that, Ben Amin, and all these others who have been light-skinned people, which kind of was a continuation in our consciousness of the mulatto, house Negro. And I'm not saying they were, but I'm saying the imagery was that they having the white in them meant they were intellectually superior and we should follow them. And I'm just saying to Brother Kale is that for me, I would think at the very least the imagery that we would be looking at should be the darker ones, representing that high position, so that we get used.
I agree with you, brother. I agree with you, brother, because I said this. Go on, brother. Sorry to go on, brother.
Yeah, I just mean for imagery's sake that we kind of like flood consciousness of our people, of the articulate ones being dark, the inventors being dark, whatever it is, because we've already got the boxers being dark, we've already got sprinters being dark, we've already got the fighters, the vicious one, everything else is killers, whatever else is dark skin. So I'm saying of everything else that we need that's positive, we need to flood their consciousness with dark skinned people. This is just my suggestion to balance it out, because we've already had the opposite. And like I said, they've used that to their advantage. So for the Malcolm X thing, they've used his light skin to their advantage. Bob Marley, they've used his light skin to their advantage to say, look at our shining stars. Do you get me? They've clearly got white blood in them, and that's what contributed to their greatness. That's the kind of thing that they seem to be wanting to show. So, but
Right.
yeah, we're on the same page anyway, brother. So, you know what I mean?
Let me just further do that. So there's two things, right? Within the black collective, you're going to find a dynamics of many different hues, and vitiligo to albino to black to diamond to mix, all this kind of stuff, right? But when the individual has an achievement, we are going to uphold the achievement and not necessarily how they look, right? But it just so happened to come with how they look. But when we are, this is a part of one of the forums I run, where we talk about the essence, epitome, standard black features, right? And I think I read it here a few years back, but let's have a look. Mount Mellon understands because of the history of white supremacy, the nearest one gets to the Europeanness in all people activities and visual observations, including fashion and phenotype. The more opportunities are permitted within all social systems. This is something that you were mentioning, brother, yeah? Are permitted within also, even though all black people are equally black, this is something that Brother Kerr was saying. We feel that it's most constructive to highlight the original ancient East African phenotype as the essence epitome standard, to which I have shown a dynamic of the oldest bones and the oldest people, right? As you see it there, I think there's actually older ones that's been discovered recently, but still same thing, right? We feel most constructive highlight the original ancient with as a standard, a visual stock for, there we go. There's the word, visual stock image of black people, right? This means whenever it's constructively possible to represent black people as a collective singular idea, it will be best to use a person who's close to the essence epitome standard, the essence epitome standard, right? That's what I was saying. So when it comes to the symbolic representation of black people, like on the flag and its cover, yes. However, there will be black people who do achievements, who will become leaders for their own merit. They will just be there naturally. Now, if we see patterns, that certain people of a certain hue are not trying to get to a certain place or are not permitted to go to a certain place, upon realizing this, drastic measures will be taken, but we won't hide the achievements of any black person because they don't fit a phenotype kind of stuff. But we do recognize that if we have a magazine, and a magazine is called Bold and Black and Super Black and Black Economics, there will be a considerable effort to make sure the essence epitome standard is represented very thoroughly throughout that particular media article. If that makes sense, brother. Yeah.
100%. Well, we agree on that, definitely.
Yeah.
I just I think Khalid Muhammad was one of the main last ones of that type of thing, to be honest.
Yeah, Khalid Abdul Muhammad. I think there was even some movements to people use him as the phenotype of, or the visual symbolic phenotype of what a man should be and this kind of stuff, right? Just as a physical presence, right? And also an attitude, not necessarily attitude, but just that's a courageousness, right?
The aggression to against,
yeah,
and that's where you know
of it, right?
this.
And I agree.
Yeah,
I will let's just highlight though what Brother Kell did raise a very important point, that most, if not all, Pan-Africanists believe that. I mean, obviously, every person who contributes is important, but there is you probably find more pictures of Marcus Garvey in the Pan-African House than anyone else. That's why I feel, right? So and he is he has high levels of melanin, so yeah, but what I'm saying is that's like Brother Kell says, all black people are equally black, they're equally important, and their achievements won't be hindered. However, we recognize that historically a great misjustice has been done on the essence epitome standard black person, and this must be corrected.
Yeah, no, I think it's just a matter of skill as well. I mean, like you said with a magazine, for instance. I mean, the same way how they can advertise cars and whatever else with women, we can advertise, you know, like you said, an inventor. Let's say he's a very light-skinned inventor, but we can also have a very dark-skinned someone else being the bigger picture, and then the inventor just a bit smaller. Just use our wisdom in it. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm just saying, saturate the conscience of our people.
Yeah. So
dark positivity.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that, because sometimes we always cover what is. Let's go with it. We always cover how pan perception works. So, for example, just by pan perception, where is it? This doesn't look good for black people. That's as the individual stories we don't care about. It's just the pan perceptions. That pan perceptions also works on the colorist view. Like if we covered it a few months back or a few years back, I can't remember. There was one of the magazines. It was either Ebony or Jet magazine, and it says like black women are getting more beautiful, something like this. But there was like a picture of 10 black women, and they all were extremely light skinned, right? And there was not one even brown to dark brown to any other additional melanated brown, whatever, black on there. This is problematic. Yeah, this is very problematic. And this kind of I don't. You've probably seen the. See if I can find it to this. Yeah, but this is the kind of thing that we have to be very aware of. But sometimes when we're fixing one problem, we have to be very careful not to open another one. If that makes sense.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Because the issue, brother Ita, the issue is it's not so much the hue; it's seeing the hue through a white supremacist mindset, brother, or an anti-black mindset. Because remember, dark and light skin, brother. We've always been around. You see, we've always been around. Whether you look at it and in the African continent, it's just that when Henry the Explorer came to Africa, he saw the darkest Africans, and then he went back to Europe and said, "All Africans are dark." But the Africans have always been, dark and light. Even, in the neighbors next door, which are the Middle Easterns, they've always been dark and light, not European looking, but it's always been that way. It's just that we have to, as I said before, brother, it's the dopamines that tells us, if we don't see through an anti-black mindset, a white supremacist mindset, then the brain's not going to be able to survive, and we will be okay. We just need to associate our dopamines. Like, I agree with you, brother. I do believe that the dark-skinned black woman, she should be the model everywhere. And the reason I said this before, I was on a channel one time, and I was speaking to a light-skinned African descendant female, and I explained to that the dark-skinned African woman in slavery, particular enslavement, is that her loyalty, that she would never ever go and tell the power structure in those days that European that you think is a European is actually an African. She would never go and tell the power structure or go and inform. And her honor for that, brother, needs to be rewarded, which is why she should be on the billboard, which is why if the white woman is an image for all women, then the dark-skinned woman should be the image of all black women. So I do agree with that, brother. I do agree.
I agree. That would be one of the strategies, of course.
This is no, 100%. I mean, yeah, I think, because I've seen, obviously, I'm sure you lot have heard about the Kevin Samuels situation and this this way in which they've tied us into the gender war against ourselves. What was I gonna say? It's a thing where for me, as opposed to getting into that war, and saying what the merits of maybe what he taught and whatever else, and going back, we would probably just have to promote what we would say is the way of our own, what a man should be like and what a woman should be like, what a husband should be like, what a wife should be like. You know what I mean? So obviously that would be saturated minds of black consciousness, so to speak, and taking into account, let's say, if you're getting married, what a woman should look for in a man would be how black conscious is this person. Do you know what I mean? And basically the 5 things that you said, that's one of the foundations of what they should be looking for in a partner. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think that's what makes each high value. Do you see what I'm saying? So but it's Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, rap. So the what was the original thing of the show? Sorry, Rap Raven. I want to get because I had several points, and I think we've dealt with probably 2 or 3.
Hold on, let
So I think
me stop shit. Stop screen and share. Share screen. 14 seconds. Hold on. I think this one. Yeah, let's go back to the thing. I think we did cover it, to be honest, bro. But it was
okay.
Are black people too kind towards our enemies? That was the thing.
So, generally, I mean, okay, it took a long time to get us this way, and after the thorough, brutal attack of savagery and barbarism, they then carried out the attack in a much more subtle way, and they supplanted it within and tied it onto economics. So it's full of deceit. Do you know what I mean? So when you say kind towards our enemies, definitely are. But I don't know. It's kind of it's obviously due to fear, isn't it? And
well, Brother Cal has a different a longing to feel good, and the way we've been conditioned. That feeling good, like before we have images of
bottom line,
wanted to be accepted is a very big part. A very big part of the psychology of many black people. The longing to feel a part of something and to prove that we are human. We're the same.
That's right.
Yeah.
But that's after when you get to the root of it, it's fear, because it's kind of like this. If you had no consequence for what you did, let's say half a society, or you got, I don't know, 100 people were told you can do whatever you want for 24 hours and there'll be no consequence. Guaranteed they're going to act differently, right? So I'm saying it may not always be conscious that it's fear, but that's what's at the basis of all these other bits of behavior that are in between. So even if you call it love or this or that, the bottom line of it is fear. So those people, if, for instance, if somehow there was a pro-black government in power, would that guy's response, somehow, the army was now pro-black, everything in that same guy that hugged that white woman, a week before that, a pro-black army got into power and all the white people, let's say, surrendered or whatever else and moved to Russia, or not Russia, Ukraine, or whatever the hell, I guarantee his response will be different. Because, whatever you're happening on the micro scale is generally because of the macro. And it's all these little ripple effects down to our behaviors. So most definitely, I put most of the behavior, especially in America. Just imagine living in a place where, you might get pulled over by police and you might get killed just because your light might be out at the back. In England, most of the time. Yes, brother.
When you look at the word deity, brother, do you have to have fear of a deity in order to worship it?
Deity? In order to worship it? No. I mean, not that I know of. I would say no, definitely not.
It could also, so would you say it can comprise of admiration, love, all these types of, chemicals which makes you conform to a deity? Would you agree with that, brother? Or
I would say it depends on the context. Because if you're using that as an analogy, I would say if it's within the context. So, for instance, if the introduction to that system in which these deities are is the overall of, well, depending on how you interact with them, is hellfire.
Right.
So, for instance, within the system of, let's say, America, is police shooting you, you go to prison for 20 years for maybe killing a police dog, or something like that. I'm saying you get treated in this way, in which this big umbrella called the justice system is over your head. So they within that framework, if this deity, for instance, is connected consciously somehow to, well, however you interact with this deity, you might go to hell forever and ever and burn forever and ever. Then I would definitely say it would be in the back of your mind. You might feel love towards it because it's your favorite deity, maybe the image, whatever else it is, and what it represents, and maybe it answered your prayers last time or whatever. Yeah, that might be the feeling, but behind that is fear, as long as the hellfire thing is in the background. So the hellfire generally, the white supremacy, anti-black torment system that's in place.
The reason I said that for, Brother Isa, is that when you understand the concept of God, it's that which you turn to in worship. You see? Now, when we observe our people, brother, the fact that you need to hug, brother, you see, when you want to hug someone, brother, right? This doesn't necessarily mean that you fear them. It's mean you have an admiration. You have a desire to want to be close to that which you turn to in worship. You see, brother? Now, I don't see black people fearing when it comes to these things. What I see them loving it, brother. And when you look at it carefully, brother, if we're going to analyze, and this is no disrespect to you, brother, when you understand the Abrahamic faith, brother, is that the laws were, as a Pan-African, is very clear. You see, you know, you have the black Christians that they will say that the black Messiah, peace be upon him, died for our sins, right? But then neither one of these black people, brother, are gonna sacrifice themselves like what Malcolm X did, like what Martin Luther King did, like what Harry. They're not gonna go on the cross, brother. But they will tell you that the Messiah died for our sins. Muhammad, the son of Abdullah, peace be upon him, right? When you understand him as an individual, right, everything which he did, he went against the best interests of himself to help the people. Do you understand? Even when it came through laws, when it came to, even if we went towards his family, if they did something wrong, right, he wouldn't overlook it. He would, you know, put the law on there. You see? Now, I don't see that with you know, our people as it becomes to the Abrahamic faith, even in the African spiritual system, because you've got our people in Africa, right, who are allowing non-African people to come into the African spirituality and be chiefs. You see? So that's why I'm saying it can't be a fear thing, but it must be an admiration of my dopamines. The brain does not want me to not survive. So it's going to release these dopamines to control the situation so it can survive. It's dopamines, brother. It's got nothing to do with fear, with respect to you.
Brother, listen to what I'm saying, because to be honest, this is really my subject, yeah. So when it comes to neurochemistry and all of that's my subject. So basically, what you have there is when you have a interaction or any response in that situation, you have to look at the full context. This isn't a thing where here's a guy who's hungry to be around white people, right? So he's gone to a party or a protest or whatever you call it, the street party, whatever it is, and he's seeking to hug white people. That's not what's happening here. He's in a situation in which if he makes the wrong move, he knows the white police could seek revenge because they're seeking to defend white people. That's thoroughly in his mind. He has no choice but to surrender to whatever it is. So he knows in his head he can't take revenge, right? Clearly that judge, which I think was black, is probably a coon anyway, right? Also a sellout or somebody who's part of the system, the anti-black system. So fear, when you have such close dealings with the police, as in you're in the court, you're thoroughly conscious, because the other option is what? To take revenge, a life for a life, right? Now he knows he can get out of line. They can say, oh, you know, he done this and we shot him. He's seen that happen. So I'm saying the alternative to go to the opposite extreme. And like you said, I'm not denying the dopamine part, but I'm saying what makes it flip that way is the fear, is the firm knowledge that these people around him, the police, these race soldiers, etc., have guns, can make an excuse and allegedly accidentally kill him or any of his family members. And that's always there at the back of their mind, or the middle or the front, all the time. And obviously being in that situation where you might want to seek revenge, where you know the KKK are saturating the police force, yeah, you know what I mean? They'll be watching him. They might give him looks, you know, to let him know, don't step out of line, boy. You know what I mean?
So that means, brother, we can say that the black people are not really practicing the religion properly then, if we were going to go down that way then.
Yeah, of course he is, because if he is practicing Christianity, which was given to him in slavery to pacify, not to be a revolutionary, it was to make him listen to white people, to be forgiving and turn the other cheek when white people do something wrong. So he is practicing exactly what they gave him. They wouldn't have given them the Islam of Elijah Muhammad or Danfodio or the original Islam of the Quran, which is, you know, an eye for an eye, basically, or, you know, justice all the way. So,
Right.
you know, he's practicing what was taught. Simple as that.
So, brother, what about for example, you know, the black Muslims, right? Who they also, brother, are very kind towards the enemies of black people when it comes to you know, the mistreatment. You know, the black Muslims will overlook the racism when the Asians are using it, the Middle Eastern as well as the Europeans. So could we say then that they also are not practicing the religion properly?
Well, what I was saying was that gentleman we were talking about, he's actually practicing Christianity. It comes from Rome, isn't it? As we know, it comes from the Roman thing, which was the white Romans seeking to conquer everyone, and in particular, obviously, dark-skinned people. What you're talking about with the Orthodox, I would say Orthodox Sunni Muslim, is a specific, generally Sunniism anyway, is an anti-black enslaver religion. So it started off as a black religion, but when you got to the Umayyads, and specifically the Abbasid period, this is when they majorly imported Slavonic and other European women, and they started to mix, especially at the higher levels of rulership. So the descendants became lighter, and they actually turned it all on its head, where Arabs originally were black and very dark, and they tried to keep it that way. So they practice something called endemy, which is they want to keep the features and characteristics of an Arab. So one of the descendants had a poem which he was dissing the Abbasid leaders, and he said, the Romans have embellished your faces, meaning they've given you their complexion. And he's boasting about him being he's saying, I'm a pure blood Arab from the lineage of the Prophet, and he's known to be black as tar. Like, I think either him or his cousin or his son was called the father of tar, tarmac, as in black. Do you get me? So I'm saying the people you're talking about now, these Orthodox Sunni Muslims, they're thoroughly coonerized, if you like. That. So, for instance, they do complain about the racism on Facebook and blah, 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 but they're still following their stuff. Their scholars are from where? Their scholars are either, because I'm saying that none of them seem to have any kind of gusto or testicular fortitude to ignore all of these non-black scholars and say, I'm going to go to the Quran, I'm going to go to the Hadith, and I'm going to see it through pro-black glasses. None of them. So all of them are just following the same zombified rubbish, and then they're going to get our brother to go from the Caribbean, from England, America, and go and fight with ISIS and bomb our own people and do the rest of it. Yeah, there you go.
Because what I've noticed is that you know, the enemies of black people seem to use black people in those faiths, and they are controlling everything, and that's what I'm saying, brother. I don't believe, to be fair, it's just the black Christian. I believe it's also, brother, when it comes to the black Muslims as well. They are also responsible for loving. If you can allow me to finish, brother Isa, all due respect, yeah. They are also responsible. The black Christians, the black Muslims, the black Buddhists, the black Sikhs, the black Ifa practitioners. They all, unfortunately, brother, with the exception of the synchronized ones, seem to have anti-black or dopamines towards, because we're in the same religion, right? We have to practice the label and put down our nature, whereas all non-African people practice the nature before the religion.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's lit. I did say this, anti-black enslaving religion. So this is Orthodox Sunni Islam. It's not like Christianity, for instance, has become a thing of, just pacify you. But I'm saying Sunniism is about enslaving you, meaning we want you to do some service for us. Yeah. So it's capture your mind. It's because remember, Saudi Arabia, I think they abolished slavery in 1980, right? Not much has changed. Majority of Afro-Caribbean converts and Afro-American converts recently, let's say after the Malcolm X movie, and even after Malcolm X, they converted to the Saudi Arabian version, the Wahhabi version. Okay, this is why in Libya, as soon as Gaddafi went, they could set up a slave market. It's still the same. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you have to remember, this is something I've been in for how many years, and dealing with brothers, who have appreciated me showing them some of the light, so to speak, where because I've been in the cult, I was in that Sunni thing for about a year or two, but I've never, claws were in me to a great degree. Luckily, I had, Pan-Africanism, Rasta, etc. before I converted, and I'm not sure where I would have been if I hadn't. I had Nation of Islam, various other things in me before, and I'm looking at guys who have just converted in prison, who've been from the roads and they've converted, and they didn't have this pro-black mentality in them at all. Do you get me? And they've zombified. So when I say enslavement, I'm saying, put it this way, I would prefer, out of the two, a black person to be a sellout Christian than to be an Orthodox Sunni Muslim. That's how bad it is. And that's me saying that.
Now, brother, that's going to be very tricky now, because and I'll explain why, brother, because you see, unsynchronization, brother, is responsible for our enslavement. It's responsible for our gender wars, right? Now, if I'm going to categorize one over the other, right, that is going to confuse African mind, because we have been attacked, so to say, by all these types of institutions. It's like, for example, a non-African person, he's showing charity or she's showing charity towards African people. Oh, I'll help with this. And then all of a sudden I say, well, because they've done something good, right, I'm going to overlook the community which they came from. Don't you think that's going to be detrimental to our community if we just categorize one without categorizing all of them?
No, brother, this is what I'm saying. I'm talking because our community, Afro-American, Afro-Caribbean, etc., we know about Christianity and Black Christianity. They do not have an Orthodox Black Sunni Islam, where we can say, even though the Black church, so to speak, is, let's say, a sellout thing, it still has a Black culture behind it. You don't have that with Orthodox Sunnism. It is firmly locked with flipping welding, not no flipping whatever. It's welded into their culture of supremacy, mulatto Arab supremacy, to the point where I remember a guy in Brixton Mosque told me, of course the Arabs are superior. Why else would Allah choose the last prophet to be from the Arabs? And he's treating these dogs, these people out there who were what they didn't even care about the religion, but just because they're Arabs, mulatto Arabs, sorry, he's treating them superior, and he said that, and I could not. I was like, wow, you actually said that out of your mouth, and so the point when I said that, of I prefer them to be out of the two, and I'm saying if there was only those two choices, is because you have to remember that Jermaine Lindsay was a Jamaican descendant brother who converted into that, then went onto a bus or a train, a bus, and didn't care how many black people on there, how many children were on there, and blew himself and those people up. I've never heard of Christians doing that. And this is what I'm glad I have to raise this with you, is because clearly you don't see this. But I've met brothers and I've been in the mosque with brothers who talk like this, Afro-Caribbeans and none. And when they talk about the lives of other people, I know black Christians, they stretch their arm out, welcome people after they've done them wrong. These guys will you Pan-Africanists, pro-blacks first. The Christian will reason with you. These lot will enslave you for those people. I know a brother personally who's a convert, and he said his dad, I think he was from somewhere in South Africa anyway, and he said his father was traveling from South Africa to, I think, to get to Europe or something like that. And he said this black Muslim was sitting on the bus with him, and he was talking in the next language, and he thought the father, my friend's father, couldn't understand him. And he was discussing next man how they're going to kidnap and enslave him because they thought he couldn't understand language, and then he managed to escape. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? That's why I call it, brother. I'm saying it as I've described it is my assessment of it, and I know how the hell can a Jamaican brother and what about all these brothers going to fight for ISIS over there? Have you not thought about that? Do you think you can brainwash Christians to go over and fight, go to a black church and recruit them? You can in the mosque, bruv. You can do that today. Yeah, you can go around and give out leaflets and tell brothers, yeah, we want you to go and fight and kill and blow people up today.
Family,
you can still do that.
Family, very important, very topic, and how we word it is important as well. And I think we both hit some good points on the head. That regardless of what faith someone is in, when they're unsynchronized, they're unsynchronized.
That's right.
And it is problematic. And maybe a solution is to have a 10 tendencies of black betterment or something that we all stay. But we do have limited time, and I'm looking at the clock, and it's 2 hours 46. So we only get a certain amount of months, so we're gonna have to call it in there. But next week, if you both could join, it'd be great because I had a great discussion. That's free, and of course we'd like to invite others on as well. But if you guys say your last farewells, and then we'll end the show.
I would say peace and love. I love the fact that my brother Kale comes back and is expressive and articulate and very mannerful with his expressions and the way he talks. I appreciate that. And you, Brother Raven, obviously very skillful with, your technology and all of that, I mean, genius, and the mentality and answering and articulating yourself, which is what we need. So brilliant examples of black progress, you get me?
Yeah, I appreciate the words of wisdom, Brother Isa. Brother Raven, once again, brilliant show. And I appreciate a Pan-Africanist Muslim like you, Brother Isa, that can, help with certain things, because we do need these types of people that can separate the religion and the culture. It's needed, brother. I don't believe Muhammad, the son of Abdullah, wanted for you to remove your culture, from what I've read up as a Pan-Africanist. So it's good to have these types of discussion so we can stop loving our enemies and start loving ourselves better.
100.
Thank you, family. Just before I go, brother did talk about revolutionary recognition rewards, work in progress. We're thinking of rewarding brothers who protect and help, ancestors who protect and help the community, to counter the enemies of black people, rewarding black people for doing the opposite. So it's something we can maybe discuss next week and the week after. We'll see. But until then, Black Betterment, make sure you help the brothers and sisters out if you can. Until then, have a good day. Thank you very much. Goodbye.